Warrior Lore. Chapter 1262. Nine-Headed Phoenix Cry, Blood Phoenix Soul Annihilation. This is the great ability of the Nine-Headed Phoenix clan. It can destroy all will. Ghost Chariot is going all out. What a terrifying great ability. Even we can't defend against it. Ghost Chariot is too scary. Spiritual Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Littling Ing were shocked. Ghost Chariot was too strong. The last attack only affected them, but it was already hard for them to defend. The sound contained will. It was a terrifying attack that could destroy one's primordial spirit. Du Xiaofu was attacked directly. His purple lightning eyes paused for a moment, but they recovered in a short moment. Inside Du Xiaofu's Niwen Palace, there were two types of spiritual thunder soul seeds, and the primordial spirit fused together. It was too difficult for external forces to affect Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit. Ghost Chariot was able to affect Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit for a moment, which was enough to prove how terrifying that attack was. However, Ghost Chariot was facing an existence even crazier than him. You're going all out? Then it's over. This was a rare opportunity, so Du Xiaofu shouted. The Ghost Chariot had used all its strength, so it must have consumed a lot of energy. It looked at the huge, nine-headed phoenix in front of it, and purple gold lightning seemed to materialize in its eyes. Its huge body shot out, and it was as fast as lightning. In the next moment, Du Xiaofu's figure walked out from the huge purple gold thunder rock. However, he was still wrapped in dazzling purple gold lightning arcs. His tall figure slowly walked out from the shadow, and the purple gold thunder rock's shadow dissipated at the same time. From the tall figure's body, a supreme aura spread out, suppressing heaven and earth. This supreme aura was extremely powerful, sweeping across the sky. It couldn't be provoked, and it also carried the power of execution. Break. A sinister smile appeared on Du Xiaofu's face. Purple gold lightning shot out from his eyes like two purple gold suns. High up in the sky, 9 purple gold lightning bolts gathered to form 9 purple gold lightning bolts. They strangely landed on the 9 heads of the nine-headed phoenix. The murderous and destructive aura caused the space to rumble. Rumble. The purple gold lightning fell, and lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Gee! The nine-headed phoenix released a miserable cry. It was struck by lightning until its entire body began to tremble. It was a tragic sight, and its 9 heads released a scorched black aura. The bloody radiance was shattered by the lightning. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared on the back of the nine-headed phoenix, his gaze cold. Peng descends to the 9 heavens. The great rock's golden wings flapped behind him, powerful and domineering. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was like a rock descending from the sky. He spread his wings and swept across the sky, suppressing the nine-headed phoenix. Domineering and fierce, the unique and righteous. Gee! The nine-headed phoenix's 9 heads screeched, and bloody runes erupted. Its aura overflowed into the heavens and engulfed the vast sky. It wanted to break free from Du Xiaofu's suppression. Du Xiaofu flapped his wings and suppressed the attack with all his might. Purple lightning surged out from his body. Rumble. Such a collision was like a thunderclap in midair, and it erupted with a string of dazzling talisman markings that were gorgeous like fireworks, causing the entire sky to be covered in dazzling light. Behind this resplendent light, there was an energy of destruction, causing the space around the ancient plaza to tremble. Crackle! The stalemate did not last long. After the violent collision in midair, the sound of the sky shattering could be heard. Then, the nine-headed phoenix's body was crushed, and the bloody light on its body was destroyed by the golden talisman markings. The 18 blood-red eyes were filled with shock. Puffed! The nine-headed phoenix spurted out fresh blood at the same time, and its eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. Bang bang! The nine-headed phoenix's huge body fell to the ground, causing the ancient space to tremble. However, this strange ancient plaza did not crack at all. You've lost. Du Xiaofu spoke as he stepped on the nine-headed phoenix's huge body. His entire body was emitting a purple gold light that distorted the void. Dream on. When have I ever lost? Che Gue shouted as he struggled with all his might. Humph. Du Xiaofu snorted, and coldness flashed across his eyes. Then, the crowd heard a loud bang in the sky. A fist wrapped in purple-gold lightning runes violently hammered one of the nine-headed phoenix's ferocious heads. Bang! With a low explosion, energy surged, and bloody light filled the sky. One of the ferocious heads of the nine-headed phoenix was directly blasted apart by Du Xiaofu's punch. Screech! The nine-headed phoenix screamed. One of its heads was destroyed, and that was a serious injury. You've lost. From now on, you'll be my follower. If you go back on your words, you'll have to bear the consequences. Du Xiaofu spoke in a domineering manner. Apart from the pulse spirit, only his martial arts level and full strength could do anything to Che Gue, which shocked Du Xiaofu. These demonic beasts with ancient bloodlines were not to be trifled with. Among the beasts, it was not only the dragons and phoenixes that were difficult to deal with. Screech! The nine-headed ghost chariot phoenix let out a low screech, and its voice became softer and softer. Its blood-red eyes fluctuated, as if it was in deep thought, shock, and acquiescence. But at this moment, Che Gue's eyes were filled with the fact that he could not accept the fact that he had lost. Screech! At this moment, the spiritual Tiger King, Little Ying, Little Falcon, Violent Bear King, and the others felt their throats burning. They weren't too surprised by Du Xiaofu's victory. That ferocious fellow was terrifying to begin with, but they couldn't help but feel shocked in their hearts. Che Gue has also lost. From now on, he will also be the Palace Master's follower. The spiritual Tiger King's eyes were filled with a smile. Che Gue had also become the Palace Master's follower. When the news spread out, it would look much better for him. Screech! Jumping down from the nine-headed phoenix's back, Du Xiaofu withdrew his golden rock wings and thunder martial vein. His face was extremely pale, and he had used up a lot of energy. Sweeping his gaze across the square, Du Xiaofu saw the spiritual Tiger King, Little Falcon, Violent Bear King, and the others' shocked expressions. He saw the purple flame demonic phoenix searching for something in the distance. This place is very strange. Did you find anything? Du Xiaofu appeared beside the purple flame demonic phoenix and asked. There was nothing else in the square, and they could not even find the exit. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's mountain martial vein spirit could sense the energy fluctuations and enter, but it could not find the exit. This place is very strange. The purple flame demonic phoenix shook her head. She seemed to have known the result of the battle between Du Xiaofu and Che Gue. She began to search around, but to no avail. What is this place? Du Xiaofu looked around and secretly used the power of his mountain martial vein spirit, but to no avail. 2 hours later, Du Xiaofu appeared in the center of the square. He had completely given up on searching. This vast square was too strange. After entering, they did not know how to leave. What should we do now? Du Xiaofu asked the purple flame demonic phoenix with a serious expression. You came in by yourself. Should you ask yourself? The purple flame demonic phoenix looked at Du Xiaofu. Her purple eyes were cold, and she said, If something happens to little star outside, I will not let you go. I will find a way to leave. Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. This place was very strange, but he could not find anything. Let me rest for a while. Help me keep an eye on things. Du Xiaofu looked at Che Gue, who had already turned back into his human form. He was sitting cross-legged, and his body was covered in red light. He was meditating. Du Xiaofu was a little worried. If Ghost Chariot recovered and attacked again, it would be hard to suppress him if he didn't adjust his breathing to recover. You better find a way to leave as soon as possible. The purple flame demonic phoenix said. Du Xiaofu did not say anything. With the purple flame demonic phoenix here, he did not have to worry about anything. He sat cross-legged and hesitated. Then, he took out an item from his chinkuan bag. That item was the size of a baby. It was emerald green and shining. It was the reincarnation demonic Ganoderma. Rumor had it that after eating it, not only would it increase one's strength, but more importantly, it would also allow one to comprehend abilities and understand the heaven and earth. As Du Xiaofu took out the reincarnation demonic Ganoderma, the spiritual Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and the others were confused. Eat it. Du Xiaofu opened his mouth and swallowed the infant-sized reincarnation demon Ganoderma in just a few mouthfuls under the confused gazes of the violent Bear King and the others. He ate the reincarnation demonic Ganoderma just like that? The violent Bear King, spiritual Tiger King, and the others were stunned. That ferocious demon king had just swallowed the reincarnation demonic Ganoderma. He was even more of a beast than a demonic beast. In the vast space, the mountains were connected, rising and falling. The mountains overlapped with each other, and the mountain paths were winding and dangerous. Within the deep and serene gorge, an unfathomable dense mountain aura rose. It was like a mysterious veil, causing the vast mountain range to have a different kind of atmosphere. Woo! At this moment, in front of the continuous mountain range, one could see mountain ranges rising and falling. They overlapped and surrounded each other, revealing countless ferocious beasts that occupied the surroundings. From time to time, he could see some powerful ferocious birds and ferocious beasts massacring some weaker demonic beasts. Some powerful demonic beast kings were also ambushing each other. Coo! An extremely sharp, miserable cry was transmitted from the distance. 1,000 feet large ferocious bird was actually lifted into the sky by an enormous crimson fire python. Its bloody mouth swallowed the bird. Swish! Suddenly, the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. A huge bear ape pounced, and its huge palm landed on the vital point of the crimson fire python. The crimson fire python was extremely powerful. The runes it released distorted the space around it, but it was no match for the huge bear ape. Its body was torn into two. Countless demonic beasts gathered, but danger lurked everywhere. Killing intent was everywhere. There's danger everywhere. Is the heavenly beast palace about to appear? On a mountain peak, a young man stood. His clothes were as white as snow, and his skin was as translucent as jade. His long hair hung on his shoulders, and under his thick eyebrows was a pair of eyes that seemed to contain the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. They seemed to contain no impurities, clear and bottomless. The young man's eyes were like spring water, and his temperament was as gentle as the wind. It was indescribably otherworldly. Master, Huang Ling the dragons 7 and 8, and the purple star demonic dragon emperor seemed to be in front. A huge demonic eagle flapped its wings and appeared behind the young man. An invisible aura spread out, solidifying the void. It was extremely powerful. Hide from those guys. When the heavenly beast palace appears, I'll think of a way to go in. The young man frowned. His face was handsome, and his nose was sharp. He was absolutely afraid of those beasts. It's said that the purple star demonic dragon emperor is also looking for the demon king Du Xiaofu. The demonic eagle's sharp eyes showed absolute fear towards those powerful beasts. That ferocious guy, why isn't he here yet? If he's here, I won't have to hide from those guys like this. The young man's eyes flickered, and the corners of his red lips curled up. Then, he looked helpless. Chapter 1263. Find him. Hurry up and find him. You must find my father. On a towering mountain peak, a 5 or 6-year-old girl shouted at several powerful, ferocious Yao beasts behind her. Lord Purple Dragon Emperor, we're already searching everywhere. Several ferocious Yao beasts stood respectfully beside the little girl. Every one of them had an extremely powerful aura. They were all famous existences in the beast region. Damn dragons! The young girl's voice was filled with anger. She wore a red dress that was surrounded by countless star patterns. She was only 5 or 6 years old, and her chubby cheeks had a faint golden glow in the depths of her eyes. At this moment, she was filled with anger. Lord Purple Dragon Emperor, the dragons aren't far ahead. They seem to want to cause trouble for us, a ferocious bird in the sky said. A ferocious bird circling in the air said. Its eyes revealed some fear, and the aura on its body was extremely powerful. I was still thinking of settling accounts with those dragons later. If they provoke me now, then don't blame me for being impolite. The little girl was evil and noble, exuding a sense of supremacy. Her inexplicable aura made the few incomparably powerful demonic beasts around her secretly tremble. So my father came to the beast region as well. He must be looking for me. The little girl's blue-black hair was tied into a ponytail, and there was a vertical rune mark between her eyebrows. She looked noble and demonic. Roar, Yao beasts roared and hissed in the mountain peaks. Several figures stood at the peak of a mountain, all of them emitting powerful auras. The two young men at the front had imposing auras, and their bodies exuded an oppressive aura. The Heavenly Beast Hall should be opening soon. This time, we have to win, said a young man with shoulder-length blue hair. His voice seemed to be able to shake space, and his eyes rippled like the waves of the sea. That dragon calls itself the Purple Star Demonic Dragon Emperor. It seems to be related to us dragons. Do you want to go take a look? Said the other young man. He wore a scarlet battle robe that seemed to burn with flames. We'll make our move after the Heavenly Beast Hall opens. There's also that Du Xiaofu. He'll appear sooner or later. The first young man was wearing a long blue robe. His demeanor appeared quiet and elegant. However, his invisible demeanor caused one to feel as though they were facing a vast and boundless ocean. At the peak of the mountain, Huang Linger gazed at the entire peak without blinking. There were ancient symbols flickering there. Fourth princess, we still haven't found that guy. A middle-aged man appeared behind Huang Linger with a respectful expression. Only then did Huang Linger turn around. Her figure was graceful, and her face was beautiful. Her eyes rippled like the limpid autumn waters. Her brows slightly furrowed, and she said softly, "That guy is even better at hiding than we imagined. The dragons, Qiongqi, Taodai, Heavenly Hound, and the other races are all here. There's also that Purple Star Demonic Dragon Emperor that suddenly appeared. If we can obtain that guy for our own use, our chances of victory will be much higher. Fourth princess, the people the dragons find might not necessarily be stronger than us." The middle-aged man spoke. He was confident that the Phoenix clan would not be inferior to the dragons. The most important thing is at the end. Whoever has the upper hand will naturally have a greater chance of victory. Huang Linger said softly. Her demeanor was so refined that it didn't have the slightest trace of the mortal world. After which, Huang Linger looked in front of her. She seemed to be quietly thinking about something. It was as though everything around her had nothing to do with her. Her crimson seven-colored eyes seemed to be deep in thought. The middle-aged man looked at Huang Linger, who was in deep thought. After hesitating for a while, he said, "Fourth princess, could it be that this time, the Heavenly Beast Hall will be obtained by someone? After all, it has been so long. This time, the things inside the Heavenly Beast Hall might not be obtained by someone. I have a hunch that there might be a big commotion in the Heavenly Beast Tomb this time. Perhaps everything will change," Huang Linger murmured. Her seven-colored eyes suddenly rippled. She stood there quietly, untainted by a speck of dust. She was indescribably ethereal and elegant. Roar! At this moment, this mountain range was filled with the cries of monsters. All the monsters were in chaos, fighting for opportunities. Pairs of fierce eyes looked down on the earth, roaring. In mid-air, there was a huge, ferocious bird that was as sharp as an eagle. It tore off a large piece of flesh from the back of a huge monster wolf on the ground. The monster wolf fled in shock. Bang! Not far away, a ferocious tiger with bright eyes pounced on its prey. It tore a ferocious goat to pieces and swallowed it into its stomach. Roar! A huge, ferocious beast with a ferocious appearance pounced over. It was fighting with another ferocious beast with a violent aura. Runes covered thousands of feet. These two beasts were too powerful. The fierce battle caused the earth to shake and the mountains to collapse. There were also the roars of dragons and the cries of ferocious birds. There were fierce battles everywhere. Ferocious birds and ferocious beasts fell at any time. Blood splattered everywhere. It was extremely cruel and bloody. This was the world of monsters. Once there was a battle, blood must be spilled. It was fierce and fierce. The world of monsters was different from that of humans. They weren't as scheming and insidious as humans. Perhaps the world of human cultivators was more dangerous, with danger lurking everywhere. But in comparison, the world of demonic beasts had the most direct killing in tint and sharpness. Time passed slowly, and the killing continued without end in this mountain range. Demonic beasts were coughing up blood everywhere, and blood splattered everywhere. There were battles between ferocious birds and ferocious beasts. Their huge bodies swept in all directions, destroying everything. A group of reckless fellows. If you dare to provoke me again, I'll kill you without mercy. In midair, a little girl's tender voice resounded in all directions. It was like rolling thunder, and the aura of a supreme being engulfed the heavens. Roar! Under that terrifying aura, all the monsters in the surrounding mountain range trembled and prostrated themselves. Roar! A divine ape that was hundreds of feet tall stood there like a demon god. A huge dragon covered in demonic flames and runes roared. It was like a dragon roaring to the nine heavens. A huge leopard that was hundreds of feet tall was covered in scales. Its entire body was covered in silver light. Runes filled the air, and its aura engulfed the sky. A huge demonic lion stood there. It was lofty and ferocious, and its aura could swallow the world. In midair, a huge condor flapped its wings. The wind and clouds suddenly changed. It covered the sky and the sun as it looked down on the earth. A huge wolf that was as white as snow had a pair of wings on its back. Its aura was ferocious. Arcs of electricity pulsed from its body, and lightning flashed behind it. These 6 huge monsters were entrenched. They moved in all directions, shaking the heavens. Their terrifying aura caused all the monsters in the area to tremble in fear. Any one of these 6 behemoths was an absolute king among the demonic beasts. At this moment, these 6 kings were clustered behind the little girl. Their terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Heavens, it's the divine ape king, the fire wyrm king, and the silver blood leopard king, and the wind cloud condor king, the 3-headed lion king, and the lightning storm wolf king. All the monsters in the area trembled and prostrated themselves. The divine ape king, the fire wyrm king, the silver blood leopard king, the wind cloud condor king, the 3-headed lion king, and the lightning storm wolf king were the 6 kings of the beast region. Although they weren't of the younger generation, their cultivations weren't inferior to the likes of the wild bear king and the fantasy tiger king, especially the divine ape king. Rumor had it that he was already a nirvana beast sovereign. I didn't think even the divine ape king would submit to the purple star demonic dragon emperor. Many monstrous beasts were stunned. The 6 monstrous beast kings had submitted. Only now did they realize how terrifying the power of the purple star demonic dragon emperor was. Roar! A tiger-sized black dog roared like thunder. Its body was robust, and it had sharp fangs. A terrifying aura emanated from its body. Oh! A wolf-shaped beast with eyes in its armpits, tiger teeth, human claws, and spiky fur on its head exuded a terrifying aura. The little girl stepped into the air. Although she appeared to be only 5 or 6 years old, there was a faint golden brilliance deep within her eyes. She was evil, noble, and exuded a supreme aura. There was a vertical rune imprint between her eyebrows. She was noble and evil. Her blue-black hair was tied into a ponytail behind her little head. She carried a ruffian aura as she pointed at the enormous black demon dog and the terrifying ferocious beast. She said, "Tiango, Taodai, this empress is not in the mood to deal with you today." Tiango and Taodai were the absolute kings of the beast region. Their eyes met, and then they looked at the divine ape king and the others. Finally, they looked at the little girl. Sensing the supreme aura emanating from her, they gritted their teeth and retreated. Tiango and Taodai, they actually retreated. Seeing the terrifying Tiango and Taodai leave, the surrounding beasts were shocked. They hadn't expected that the purple star demonic dragon emperor would scare away such terrifying kings, not daring to fight. Time continued to pass. A few more days later, monsters gathered in all directions, blotting out the sky. Everyone was fighting, but no one dared to provoke the dragons, phoenixes, and other powerful existences. As for the purple star demonic dragon emperor, who had only recently appeared, no monster dared to provoke him. The ancient plaza was vast and boundless. There was nothing else around it. Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged in the center of the plaza. Golden light rippled around him like golden snakes. Runes rose, and his aura surged. Walala! At that moment, an enormous amount of energy of heaven and earth appeared out of nowhere and gathered above Du Xiaofu's head. The energy gathered like a vortex, and the energy of heaven and earth poured into Du Xiaofu's body. As the energy gathered, Du Xiaofu's aura continued to rise. Bang! Finally, a muffled sound came from Du Xiaofu's divine watchtower. It was like thunder. Then, his aura reached a new level. He was a true origin martial lord. Boom! Auras rippled in all directions. Golden runes rippled, and energy surged. Gulp! Gulp! The Wild Bear King, Fantasy Tiger King, Littling Ying, and the others felt their throats burn. They were flabbergasted, and they said in disbelief, "Impossible! He broke through to origin martial lord so easily." Chapter 1264. The origin martial venerable was a watershed in the martial venerable realm. It was completely different from the transcendent martial venerable realm. Although the spiritual illusion Tiger King and the violent Bear King were primordial origin beast sovereigns, the path of cultivation was very complex. When they had broken through from transcendent martial venerables to primordial origin martial venerables, they knew what they had experienced and how difficult it had been to break through. But now, in just a few days, the ferocious Demon King had easily broken through to the origin martial venerable realm. The spiritual illusion Tiger King and the others couldn't help but be shocked. In the square, the purple flame demonic phoenix watched Du Xiaofu break through. Its purple eyes were beautiful, and it was also moved. The surrounding energy of heaven and earth slowly dissipated. Waves of energy surged into Du Xiaofu's body like dazzling golden snakes. Finally, it surged into Du Xiaofu's body in a mysterious manner. Everything calmed down. Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged in the square, opened his eyes after a long time. Boom! The moment Du Xiaofu opened his tightly shut eyes, the golden light in his eyes fluctuated along with the purple lightning. Purple flames faintly appeared in his eyes, and there seemed to be a layer of starlight slowly converging on his body. His aura shook the surrounding space for no reason. Huff! Du Xiaofu exhaled a mouthful of turbid air from his throat. As he exhaled this mouthful of turbid air, Du Xiaofu's aura slowly receded. Du Xiaofu's immortal Xin body and the faint purple-gold color from the bone-cleansing marrow cleansing also slowly dimmed. Have I broken through to the origin martial venerable realm? Du Xiaofu lowered his head as if he was thinking about something. He formed a seal with his hands. Mysterious golden runes rippled on his body. In the end, it seemed to condense into a golden-winged great pong behind him. Screech! The golden-winged great pong flapped its wings. The roar of the great pong resounded in the ancient space like thunder. The roar of the pong was like the roar of a dragon, the roar of a tiger, the cry of a turtle, and the cry of a sparrow. Along with the appearance of the golden-winged rock, the phantom Tiger King, Littling Ying, violent Bear King, and the others all felt their bones tremble. They could feel the pressure of a true sovereign beast descending. This kind of supreme pressure among beasts was definitely the descent of a true golden-winged great rock. The pressure that came from the depths of their bloodline and primordial spirit was something that they could not resist. The image of the golden-winged rock hovered behind Du Xiaofu. Its cry pierced through the clouds and cracked rocks, causing the vast space of the ancient plaza to ripple. The energy ripples were like the roaring waves of the ocean. What a terrifying aura! Is he still a chaotic element martial venerable? He has just become a chaotic element martial venerable. How can he be so strong? He should be comparable to those human nirvana martial venerables. This is the aura of a true golden-winged great pong. Even if he is fused with a pair of great pong golden wings, how can he have such a supreme pressure? Sensing the aura of Du Xiaofu in the center of the plaza, the golden-winged great peng's aura was like that of a true golden-winged great pong who had just become a chaotic element martial venerable. At this moment, it was as thick as the aura of a nirvana martial venerable. The phantom Tiger King, violent Bear King, Littling Ying, and the others almost collapsed. Gue Che looked at Du Xiaofu in the plaza. His calmness was undoubtedly second only to the purple flame demonic phoenix. However, when he sensed the aura at this moment, his crimson eyes rippled violently. In just a few days, although that ferocious guy had consumed spiritual medicine, he had recovered and even made a breakthrough. At this moment, when Gue Che sensed the aura of that ferocious young man, he was unwilling to accept it. However, he knew that he was getting further and further away from that guy. There was nothing he could do about it. As a member of the nine-headed Phoenix clan, Gue Che's bloodline was noble. It was a bloodline that could be ranked at the top of the pyramid among the demonic beasts. However, when facing that ferocious human in front of him, even though his cultivation was one level higher, he was still defeated. His physical body did not have the slightest advantage and was even inferior to a human's physical body. At this moment, the gap between them was getting wider and wider. Gue Che found it hard to accept. However, all of this was right in front of Gue Che's eyes. He felt as if he had been abused again. Roar! The golden-winged Great Peng's shadow shone with golden light behind Du Xiaofu's back. Its aura was released wildly. Ling Tian, Phantom Tiger King, Little Ling Ying, Little Falcon, Violent Bear King, and the others trembled and crawled. The supreme aura was released. When Du Xiaofu's aura had completely stabilized at the level of a chaotic element martial venerable, it slowly stopped and finally dissipated. Walala! Waves of golden talisman mystic runes gathered like a vortex and surged into Du Xiaofu's body. The blazing golden runes in Du Xiaofu's eyes retracted. It was as if a golden-winged great Peng was silent in his clear eyes. A chaotic element martial venerable is omnipotent. It is the truth and the Tao. It is the great Tao of heaven and earth. Heaven, earth, and man are one. They can participate in heaven and earth. They are all-encompassing. The chaotic element Qi is empty but not empty. They are one with the Tao. Du Xiaofu murmured as a smile appeared on his face. When the conditions were right, success came naturally. With the help of the reincarnation demon Ganoderma, he had comprehended the divine ability and finally stepped into the chaotic element martial venerable realm. Originally, Du Xiaofu was a transcendent martial venerable. An extraordinary was already beyond the ordinary. However, now that he had broken through, Du Xiaofu realized the difference between a transcendent martial venerable and a chaotic element martial venerable. It was a world of difference. Even though Du Xiaofu had used the 9 heavens of the frenzied dragon to borrow the power of the Qian dragon to temporarily reach the level of a primordial martial venerate, there was no comparison between using the 9 heavens of the frenzied dragon to raise one's cultivation to the level of a primordial martial venerate for a short period of time. Temporarily raising one's cultivation to the chaotic element martial venerable realm was just strength but not spirit. It was just strength but insufficient spirit and incomplete realm. Compared to a real chaotic element martial venerable, it was just a joke. Now that he had stepped into the real chaotic element martial venerable realm, where heaven, earth, and man were one, he participated in heaven and earth, all-encompassing, and was one with the Tao. Du Xiaofu truly understood the power of the chaotic element martial venerable realm. After the chaotic element martial venerable realm was the nirvana realm. Once the nirvana realm was successful, one could step into the martial domain. At that time, one would be among the top experts in the world. I'm a chaotic element martial venerable now. I wonder when I'll be able to step into the nirvana realm. Du Xiaofu's clear eyes were burning with passion. For no reason, the blood in his heart boiled a little. However, the passion in Du Xiaofu's eyes soon subsided. The chaotic element martial venerable realm is far from enough. Du Xiaofu muttered softly. He could not feel happy. Stepping into the chaotic element martial venerable realm might be enough for others to go wild with joy. However, Du Xiaofu knew that being a chaotic element martial venerable was far from enough. Legalism, devil religion, and so on. Any existence was an unshakable colossus. Du Xiaofu knew that he, as a chaotic element martial venerable, could not compete with them. He did not even have the qualifications to do so. Du Xiaofu's eyes darkened. He would have to at least reach the martial domain realm before he could barely compete with the devil religion and legalism. And this was only the qualifications. Du Xiaofu still remembered that his big brother, Zhen Qingchun, had said that for a martial venerable, transcendent, chaotic element, and nirvana realm, any one of these steps was enough to stop a top genius. And to succeed in the final nirvana realm, how difficult was that? It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Countless martial venerables and 8-star spirit talisman masters were blocked at a certain level until their lifespans ran out. They were unable to obtain a new life force irrigation and finally died. At least I've broken through now. A moment later, Du Xiaofu took a deep breath. His chest rose and fell slightly. He exhaled a long breath of air, causing the space in front of him to tremble slightly. Crackle. Slightly standing up, Du Xiaofu stretched his back. All the bones and joints in his body crackled. An unprecedented amount of profound energy flowed through the meridians in his body. The profound energy within the divine watchtower was even more boundless. As he broke through to the chaotic element martial venerable, the divine watchtower in his body expanded once again. The carefree feeling brought about by the breakthrough made Du Xiaofu so comfortable that he wanted to moan. This kind of comfortable feeling was simply too wonderful. It's full of power. Clenching his fists slightly, the surging power in his body made Du Xiaofu feel that if he were to fight with the ghost chariot again, he would definitely be able to easily win. It would not be as difficult as before. Even if he were to face a Nirvana realm expert at this moment, Du Xiaofu was confident that he would be able to fight head-on. Is this the power of a chaotic element martial venerable? The reincarnation demon Ganoderma truly lives up to its reputation. Du Xiaofu smiled. At this moment, it was as if he could shatter the space with just a raise of his hand. However, all of this was because he was able to break through to the chaotic element martial venerable level. Although he had not lagged behind in his comprehension of various sacred powers and meridian spirit recently, they had all improved tremendously. However, without the help of the reincarnation demon Ganoderma, Du Xiaofu knew that it would be difficult for him to successfully break through so smoothly. After consuming the reincarnation demon Ganoderma, Du Xiaofu felt as if he had entered a state of emptiness. He had benefited a lot, comprehending various sacred powers with half the effort. It was indescribably wonderful. Du Xiaofu was actually extremely satisfied with his current cultivation and breakthrough speed. Putting everything else aside, he was actually extremely satisfied with himself. Retracting his aura, Du Xiaofu smiled. Then, he looked at the surprised spiritual fantasy Tiger King, Violent Bear King, Ghost Chariot, and the others in the distance. His eyes rippled, and he smiled faintly. After breaking through, that guy should be able to fight against a Nirvana beast venerable. Spiritual fantasy Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Little Ying looked at each other with shock in their eyes. They were originally waiting for an opportunity to defeat that guy in the future. However, looking at the current situation, it seemed that they were getting further and further away. Have you found a way out? Du Xiaofu's figure flashed and landed in front of the purple-flamed demonic phoenix. Chapter 1265. You came in by yourself, so think of a way. If you can't get out, I'll teach you a lesson. The purple-flamed demonic phoenix said with a frown. Her voice was clear and her eyes focused. She had thought of everything she could think of, but she couldn't find a way to get out. This place was very strange. This place is too strange. It's impossible that we can't get out. I'll look again. Du Xiaofu frowned. He couldn't be trapped here forever. He had to find a way to leave. Little Star was still outside. With Little Star's troublesome temper, it would be troublesome if something happened to it with the many demonic beast experts here. Du Xiaofu frowned and began to study the vast square. My hun came in because it felt the fluctuations here. Du Xiaofu didn't believe that they couldn't get out. Everyone, let's look around and see if there's anything special. After a while, Du Xiaofu said to Little Ying, Ghost Chariot, Wild Bear King, Little Falcon, and the others. The profound energy in his body gathered in the center of his palm. The profound energy, which was flickering with a faint golden light, condensed into a waterfall and landed on the vast ancient square. Du Xiaofu bombarded the square with a low rumbling sound. Du Xiaofu wanted to test if he could trigger some reaction in this strange square. Wild Bear King, Little Ying, Spiritual Tiger King, Little Falcon, and dozens of others immediately copied Du Xiaofu and began to attack everywhere, searching the surroundings. Although Ghost Chariot had taken a lot of elixirs, his injuries hadn't recovered much. Therefore, He could feel that he had been abused by Du Xiaofu again in terms of physical strength. After a moment of hesitation, Ghost Chariot also joined the group searching the square. Mysterious attacks fell in all directions. Rumble. Suddenly, in this ancient space, muffled explosions sounded and energy ripples rippled. However, after Du Xiaofu and the others searched the surroundings, they didn't know that outside, the demonic beasts in the heavenly beast tomb fell into a state of excitement. Rumble. Amidst the continuous chain of mountains, the surrounding space trembled, and muffled sounds could be heard from up ahead. Roar. In the surrounding mountains, countless demonic beasts roared, erupting with astonishing ferocity. The ferocious eyes of the demonic beasts landed in front of them, as if they were waiting for something. In the surrounding mountains, some hidden powerful auras began to fluctuate. Countless demonic beasts roared, causing the surrounding space to faintly distort. It's been so many days. Why hasn't the heavenly beast hall appeared yet? Huang Linger stood at the top of the mountain and looked ahead. Her beautiful eyes that were suffused with a crimson glow rippled, and a trace of astonishment flashed through them. I wonder what kind of inheritance will appear when the heavenly beast hall opens this time. I'm afraid it will be a fierce battle. Every time the heavenly beast hall opens, those powerful battle servants will more or less bring out some inheritances. Now, Long Qi and Long Ba of the Dragon Clan, Huang Linger of the Phoenix Clan, Ao Long of the Heavenly Dog Clan, Xiong Yo of the Taodai Clan, and Xueling of the Qiongqi Clan are all here. The battle servants they brought are exceptionally powerful. When the time comes, a real bloody battle will naturally erupt. Don't forget that the Purple Star Demonic Dragon Emperor, Zhuolong, and the others have also been scared away. They are also terrifying existences. In the surrounding mountains, the demonic beasts discussed in low voices. The final battle of the heavenly beast halls opening naturally belonged to those terrifying existences. Once the battle erupted, the bloody battle would be truly terrifying. In front of a mountain, a figure quietly approached. His clothes were as white as snow, and he was hiding. Finally, he landed on a towering tree. It was an ethereal young man. His eyes were looking at the surrounding mountains. Demonic beast blood was everywhere, and eerie skeletons covered the ground. Looking from afar, it gave people a hair-raising feeling. At this moment, the surrounding demonic beasts were all looking forward. No one paid attention to the hiding young man. Quite a number of demonic beasts have come. The heavenly beast tomb has attracted so many demonic beasts. The white-clothed young man frowned. The overwhelming horde of demonic beasts, their ferocious auras, and the rising and falling demonic beasts' roars made him frown. The white-clothed young man's eyes were solemn. It seemed that the difficulty of fishing in troubled waters was much more difficult than he had originally imagined. Master, the Phoenix Clan, dragons, and the Purple Star Demonic Dragon Emperor are all in front. A demonic condor that was several feet tall quietly hovered above the towering tree where the white-clothed young man was. The heavenly beast tomb is indeed endlessly tempting to demonic beasts. The white-clothed young man sighed. Although he coveted the existence in the heavenly beast tomb, he had to think of a way out at this moment. Even if he entered the heavenly beast palace and obtained some benefits, he was afraid that he would be besieged by demonic beasts as soon as he came out. Putting aside the fact that the Phoenix Clan had been searching for him, there was also the 8th and 7th Dragon Princes of the Dragon Clan, Xiong Yo of the Taodai Clan, Xueling of the Qiongqi Clan, and Hui Long of the Tiango Clan. Those terrifying existences would not let him go. Should I just give up? Once I enter the danger zone, I will be in big trouble. The white-clothed young man's face was solemn. However, he was already in the heavenly beast tomb. He was unwilling to leave just like that. Boom! While the white-clothed young man was deep in thought, the space in front of him suddenly trembled violently. Immediately after, an extremely special fluctuation appeared in the space in front of him. Dazzling runes flashed out. Rumble, spatial energy rumbled continuously. The runes on the mountain range distorted the space, making the sound of flowing water. Then, a huge scene seemed to emerge in the distorted space. Could it be that the heavenly beast palace has appeared? In the surrounding mountain range, Countless demonic beasts' eyes were suffused with a scarlet-red ominous glint. Their breathing became heavy as they stared intently at the distorted space. Under the gaze of the scarlet-red ominous eyes, a vortex began to appear in the distorted space above the mountain range. A huge square appeared in front of their eyes. Roar! The huge square was vast and boundless. There was a huge object standing in the middle. Faintly, an astonishing beast roar resounded. The vast square became clearer and clearer. In the end, it completely appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The vast square was boundless. A huge hall sat in the middle of the square. The huge hall stood tall, making the surrounding towering mountain peaks appear small in comparison. Its height was tens of thousands of feet. Everyone's gaze pierced through the distorted space and looked up at the huge hall. It was like a huge object standing in a corner of the world, making all living beings feel small and insignificant. Courage rose from the bottom of their hearts. Countless ferocious beasts were engraved on the huge hall. Rising beast runes resounded with the roars of tens of thousands of beasts. The majestic hall made all living beings tremble in fear. On the ancient square, Du Xiaofu, Phantom Tiger King, Gui Che, Little Falcon, and the others were still attacking, causing the square to tremble. Rumble! All of a sudden, the ancient square trembled violently. Du Xiaofu, Phantom Tiger King, Little Falcon, and the others immediately froze. They looked around, trying to find the source of the trembling. The purple flame demonic phoenix looked at the space in front of it. There were spatial ripples there. Rumble! After the ancient square shook, it began to tremble. Spatial ripples rippled in front of it, and the faint roars of tens of thousands of beasts resounded. Something's happening. Everyone was pleasantly surprised. Phantom Tiger King, Little Falcon, Wild Bear King, and the others approached Du Xiaofu. The spatial ripples in front of them indicated that the roars of tens of thousands of beasts were coming from the spatial ripples. The entire ancient square trembled, as if it was shrinking. The aura surged, making it difficult for people to stand still. That might be the exit. Let's take a gamble. Du Xiaofu's eyes flashed with a golden light. He stomped his foot on the square, and his figure swept toward the spatial ripples. That's the legendary Heavenly Beast Hall. The Heavenly Beast Hall is open. Outside the mountain range, looking at the vast square and the towering hall, the eyes of the demonic beasts in the surrounding mountain range glowed red. As the vast space appeared above the mountain range, it was as if another huge space had opened up in the Heavenly Beast Tomb. The moment the hall appeared, many demonic beasts in the surrounding mountain range let out greedy roars. The Heavenly Beast Hall is open. All battle servants, charge and seize the benefits. Swoosh, swoosh. In the midst of the overwhelming horde of demonic beasts, a dense group of figures suddenly swept out. They were countless human figures. Their eyes were crimson red. Countless figures rushed through the air and rushed towards the space within the large hall, where a fluctuation had appeared. They were the battle servants of many demonic beasts in the surrounding area. Their auras were so powerful that they were terrifying. They had become the battle servants of some demonic beast kings. Some were willing, some were forced, but the one thing they had in common was that they were extraordinary and had powerful auras. Let's go all out. On a towering tree in the distance, the young man in snow-white clothes clenched his teeth. In the end, he couldn't resist the temptation of the Heavenly Beast Hall. His figure turned into a streak of light as he blended into the crowd of battle servants and flew into the sky. Fourth princess, it's that guy. He has appeared. On a mountain peak, a middle-aged man said to Huang Linger. Runes flickered in his eyes as he stared at the young man in white, who was rushing into the spatial ripples in the Heavenly Beast Hall. Chapter 1266. Huang Linger looked at the white-clothed young man in the air in front of her. She raised her eyebrows slightly and said, "It's too late. We will act when the time comes. Let the other battle servants set off first." The middle-aged man nodded, after which he waved his hand towards the dozen figures behind him and said, "All of you can set off. Whether we can obtain the initiative will depend on you." Yes, the dozen figures immediately rushed out. Their auras were extremely powerful as they traversed through space. Set off. Fight for the initiative and find the opportunity. On a mountain peak not far away, an imposing young man with long blue hair that reached his shoulders waved his hand. His eyes were as deep as the sea. As his hand fell, the dozen figures with powerful auras behind him also rushed out together. We can set off now. This emperor will reward those who can obtain the opportunity heavily. On a mountain peak, a little girl's eyes were suffused with a demonic glow. She waved her hand at the many figures behind her with an excited expression. Swoosh, swoosh. Numerous figures were densely packed, like locusts passing through. They transformed into numerous blurry figures and charged towards the vast space of the enormous hall. Bang, bang. Low and deep explosions resounded at the entrance of the space from time to time. Some figures that approached the entrance were immediately blasted into pieces and turned into a bloody mist. They were some demonic beasts that had transformed into human form. They wanted to take advantage of the chaos and enter. However, they were destroyed by an invisible force just as they approached. Demonic beasts are unable to enter the heavenly beast hall. Only battle servants can step in. Some powerful demonic beasts looked at the demonic beasts that wanted to take advantage of the chaos from afar. Their fierce eyes were calm and unmoved. They only coldly watched as a joke. Swoosh, swoosh. A couple of figures rushed out from the fluctuating spatial ripples. They were Du Xiaofu and the rest who had escaped from the strange ancient square. What is that? As Du Xiaofu and the rest rushed out together, many pairs of eyes were immediately stunned. What appeared in front of everyone's eyes was a towering and boundless huge silhouette. It was huge and boundless, so tall that one could not see its height when they raised their heads. Everyone stood in front of it and felt insignificant for no reason. They were like ants and their hearts trembled for no reason. Roar. The roars of tens of thousands of beasts reverberated in the air, rumbling out from the behemoth. It was as if a peerless, ferocious beast was roaring. Du Xiaofu was stunned. At this moment, all the profound energy in his body froze for no reason. Under that terrifying aura, it was as if he was facing the roars of 10,000 beasts. Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit also trembled violently. The golden rock technique in his body automatically circulated to resist that terrifying aura. Roar. The violent Bear King, Phantom Tiger King, Little Falcon, and the others all trembled and wanted to prostrate themselves. Even Ghost Chariot's expression changed. In the midst of his astonishment, Du Xiaofu was finally able to clearly see that the colossus that stood before him was actually an enormous hall. The enormous palace was covered in rising beast patterns, and the roars of 10,000 beasts could be heard. It was vast and majestic, and its aura shook one's soul. Looking at the enormous palace, Du Xiaofu sucked in a breath of cold air. He didn't know who had left it behind. With such extravagance, even the ancient celestial sect of Kyushu and the immeasurable sect would not be able to create such a majestic palace. Celestial Beast Hall. The purple flame demonic phoenix's purple eyes trembled violently. The enormous palace made her tremble uncontrollably. This is the Celestial Beast Hall. We're in front of it. Ghost Chariot came back to his senses. His eyes were filled with shock as he recognized what the enormous palace was. This is the Celestial Beast Hall? Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows. If the huge hall in front of him was the Heavenly Beast Hall, then he was now inside the Heavenly Beast Hall. Whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sound of wind breaking resounded in front of the Celestial Beast Hall. Everyone turned around and saw an overwhelming number of figures sweeping through the air. Waves of mighty auras swept over. Those were thousands of battle servants. It's the battle servants. Strange, how do we get in? The Illusion Tiger King was astonished. This was the Celestial Beast Hall. According to the rumors, only battle servants could enter this place. But now, they were also in front of the Celestial Beast Hall. It must have something to do with that strange space from before. The violent Bear King said with certainty after pondering for a while. Under his rough appearance, his mind was quite meticulous. Whoosh whoosh. While the Illusion Tiger King and the violent Bear King were talking, the battle servants in front of them had already arrived. They raised their heads and looked at the enormous palace. Under the mighty aura and the roars of 10,000 beasts, the battle servants were deeply shocked. Boom! As everyone entered, the enormous palace trembled, as if something had been triggered. Immediately after, the enormous palace seemed to have come to life, flashing with dazzling runes. Whoosh whoosh, above the palace, beast patterns rose. Suddenly, dozens of streams of light shot out and swept down from the palace. The runes were resplendent. Roar, dozens of streams of light swept down, accompanied by the roars of demonic beasts. A vast pressure descended, the light was bright and dazzling, and the roars of demonic beasts could be faintly heard. Mysterious runes swept out, and the shadows of ferocious birds and ferocious beasts could be vaguely seen. Mystic bones. Those are the mystic bones of demonic beasts. Hurry up and snatch them. Those are the mystic bones of demonic beasts on the celestial beast list. In an instant, the surrounding figures were in an uproar. One by one, they pounced on the mystic bones of demonic beasts, wanting to snatch them. None of the battle servants noticed Du Xiaofu and the others who had entered the celestial beast hall before them. Even if there were battle servants who noticed Du Xiaofu and the others, they only glanced at them. All of them were attracted by the enormous celestial beast hall. Boom! As the mystic bones of demonic beasts appeared, the figures instantly made their moves. Mysterious chi gushed out. They activated their beast energy, talisman weapons, and Dao weapons. In an instant, many figures rushed toward the mystic bones of demonic beasts and fought with the competitors who jumped out from all directions. Rumble. A low muffled sound exploded. Everyone fought for the mystic bones of demonic beasts and attacked each other mercilessly. This item is mine. Get lost. A well-built middle-aged man's robes fluttered in the wind. The mysterious chi around him swept out violently along with the talisman style. Its power distorted the space in all directions. A blazing aura erupted and blasted many battle servants away. He stretched out his hand to grab a mystic bone. Boom! However, just as the middle-aged man was about to grab the mystic bone, a long saber descended. It was unlucky and resplendent. It shattered the middle-aged man's saber and turned him into a bloody mist that exploded in midair. Who dares to stop me? Kill. A young man with a saber flashed out. He was the one who killed the middle-aged expert with a single slash. His battle clothes fluttered in the wind. His eyes were bright, and his aura was terrifying. He was extremely fierce and overbearing. They are all extraordinary mystic bones of demonic beasts. Snatch them for me. Snatch them all back for me. The more the better. Du Xiaofu opened his mouth. A sinister smile appeared on his resolute face. Looking at the mystic bones of demonic beasts, Du Xiaofu could feel that they were extraordinary. They were all from demonic beasts on the heavenly beast list. Any of these mystic bones of demonic beasts that fell into the hands of Kyushu would cause a commotion in Kyushu. At this moment, there were dozens of mystic bones of demonic beasts. How could Du Xiaofu not be tempted? These were all treasures. For demonic beasts, powerful mystic bones of demonic beasts, even if they didn't belong to their own clan, would be of great use to other demonic beasts. They would be able to comprehend beast energy and obtain great benefits. Snatch. As soon as Du Xiaofu opened his mouth, Spiritual Tiger King, Little Ying, Little Falcon, Violent Bear King, and the others were not easy to deal with. They had a notorious reputation among the demonic beasts for their ruthlessness. They immediately rushed out and joined the fight. Although the demonic beast kings following Violent Bear King and Spiritual Tiger King were not as strong as Violent Bear King and Spiritual Tiger King, none of them were weak. At this moment, Spiritual Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and the others immediately joined the fray. Ghost Chariot's red eyes flashed coldly. After being abused a few days ago, he had been feeling vexed for no reason. He did not have a good impression of humans. At this moment, Ghost Chariot looked at the battle servants around him and realized that they were going to fight for the Yao Beast Mystic Bone. Thus, without any hesitation, Ghost Chariot immediately pounced towards the crowd. Bang bang bang. Ghost Chariot, Little Ying, Violent Bear King, and Spiritual Tiger King all joined the fray. Even in their human forms, they swept through everything. No one could stop them. Wherever the spiritual Tiger King, Littling Ing, and violent Bear King passed, they left behind a trail of blood. They destroyed everything in their path as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. In a flash, they seized several demonic beast bones. "This bone is mine." The blade-wielding youth, who had just killed a middle-aged expert, exuded a powerful aura. Many of the surrounding battle servants were intimidated. Their eyes turned red, but none of them dared to step forward. The blade-wielding youth was very satisfied. He looked around with an arrogant expression. Although he was a battle servant, he was a powerful existence among them. If there came a day when he left the beast region and returned to Kyushu, his name would spread far and wide. So what if he became a battle servant? With that, no one else came forward to fight. The blade-wielding youth easily reached out and grabbed the demonic beast bone that had flown towards him. His eyes flashed with arrogance as he prepared to put it into his pouch. TCH. Suddenly, at this moment, a faint golden light rushed out of nowhere. A golden claw came out of nowhere and actually grabbed the demonic beast's secret bone that was right under the eyes of the young man holding the blade. It unceremoniously kept it into its chinkuin bag. It was a purple-robed youth. He wasn't very old, and his entire body was enveloped in a faint golden light. For some reason, he exuded a domineering aura. "You're courting death." The blade-wielding youth's gaze suddenly turned cold. Anger surged from his eyes as he slashed out with his blade. A dazzling blade of light shot through the air like a bolt of lightning. The blade was as fast as lightning and as powerful as thunder. It was fierce and murderous. Chapter 1267. Wish. The lightning-fast blade instantly appeared in front of the purple-robed youth. However, it stopped in front of the purple-robed youth, unable to advance any further. At this moment, the expression of the young man holding the blade changed in shock. "You're the one who's courting death." As the purple-robed young man spoke indifferently, golden light erupted from his hand. His figure landed in front of the young man with the saber like a ghost. Then, the purple-robed youth stretched out his hand and clenched his fingers. In an instant, his hand touched the youth's large blade. A terrifying golden light swept out like a tidal wave. Bang! The youth's pupils shrank as shock surged out. In the next instant, his body was shattered by the golden light that passed through the large blade in his hand. He turned into a bloody mist and disappeared. The purple-robed youth was domineering. Other than Du Xiaofu, there was no one else who could be so domineering. "That's mine. It's all mine." After killing the saber-wielding young man, Du Xiaofu took the saber from the saber-wielding young man and put it into his chinkuin bag. He couldn't bear to destroy the saber. Then, he pounced towards another demonic beast bone that was being fought over by dozens of people not far away. Guiche, Fantasy Tiger King, Wild Bear King, Littling Ing, Little Falcon, and the others all attacked violently. They charged forward with an irresistible force. No one could stop them. It's a demonic beast. How can a demonic beast enter here? Oh no, it's a demonic beast. A origin beast sovereign level demonic beast. Some of the battle servants discovered the identities of Fantasy Tiger King, Wild Bear King, and the others and were shocked. No one could stop the Fantasy Tiger King, Wild Bear King, and the others, especially Guiche. The moment he attacked, he killed everything in his path. In the blink of an eye, many demonic beast secret bones fell into the hands of Guiche and Fantasy Tiger King. "They're all mine," Du Xiaofu shouted. He rushed into the air and exploded with golden light. He swept through the battlefield, not wanting to let a single one go. Bang, bang, bang. Some of the battle servants tried to deal with Du Xiaofu, but before they could even get close, their bodies were crushed into pieces. In the space outside the Heavenly Beast Hall, on the mountain peak, in the formation of dragons, it was a young man with shoulder-length blue hair wearing a blue robe. He was Dragon 8 of the Dragons, a terrifying existence among the younger generation. Looking at the blurry battle in front of the Celestial Beast Hall, Dragon 8 said softly, "It seems like it's starting to benefit." It's said that every time the Celestial Beast Hall appears, there will be many extraordinary mystic bones. Who dares to compete with us dragons? This time, we have Jin 1, In 2, Tong San as our battle servants. They are enough to sweep through everything. A young man wearing red battle clothes with arrogance in his eyes said with a powerful aura. He was Dragon 7 of the dragons, one of the best among the younger generation of dragons. Jin 1, In 2, Tong San aren't weak. If the three of them work together, they won't be weak. Among all the battle servants, no one should be able to stop them. If a great opportunity appears this time, their chances should be quite high. However, Wan Jian brought by Huang Ling isn't weak either. In addition, I heard that the battle servants brought by the Tiango clan and Cheongqi clan aren't bad either. Dragon 8's eyes were deep and boundless. He was well aware of the outcome of this competition. Among the battle servants brought by the Dragon clan, Gold 1, Silver 2, Tong San were strong enough to sweep away all the other battle servants. If a great opportunity appears in the Heavenly Beast Hall this time, it will definitely belong to us dragons. Huang Ling the Tiango clan and the Cheongqi clan won't be able to compete with us. Dragon 7 said softly. His eyes were filled with confidence, the confidence of dragons. In front of the Heavenly Beast Hall, the last mystery bone shone brightly and released an oppressive aura. There was a faint roar of a beast. It was definitely an extraordinary mystery bone. Du Xiaofu stretched out his hand and grabbed the mystery bone. Hand over the mystery bone or die. At the same time, a few figures appeared around Du Xiaofu. There was a total of 8 of them. These 8 people seemed to be the 8 with the strongest auras among all the battle servants in the area. They directly surrounded Du Xiaofu. Among the 8 of them, there was a middle-aged man wearing a golden robe, a silver robe, and a bronze robe. He was the most eye-catching. The 3 of them looked exactly the same. They held spears of gold, silver, and bronze. Their auras were vast, and they were all peak extraordinary martial honorables. A young man in a snow-white robe was looking at Du Xiaofu with clear eyes. He had a special smile on his face, as if he had noticed Du Xiaofu long ago. A young man in a white robe was holding a long sword. He looked solemn and his eyes were dazzling. His aura was as sharp as a sword, and he seemed to have merged with the sword in his hand. Another middle-aged man and 2 other young men were holding extraordinary Dao weapons. Their Dao weapons were almost at the level of magic weapons, and they were not weak. The weakest young man was a peak extraordinary martial honorable. Du Xiaofu looked at the 8 people around him. He glanced at the smiling young man in a snow-white robe and said, "The mystery bone is mine. If you want it, come and take it." TSK. As soon as Du Xiaofu finished speaking, the sound of energy breaking through the wind was heard. The young man in a snow-white robe suddenly attacked. However, he did not attack Du Xiaofu. Instead, he attacked the nearest peak extraordinary martial honorable with a saber in his hand. The young man in a white robe attacked instantly. Runes flashed like a saber, and there was a faint, strange demon chi in it. The peak extraordinary martial honorable had not come back to his senses. When he realized what had happened, he was shocked. However, it was too late. The mysterious chi defense on his body could not withstand the attack of the young man in a snow-white robe. His body was cut open by the saber-like energy. His eyes were filled with despair, and he turned into a bloody mist. The young man's primordial spirit seemed to be affected, and he could not escape. Go to hell. Almost at the same time, a middle-aged man in a peak extraordinary martial honorable had his chest pierced through by a bloody claw from his back. A sharp bloody aura swept out. The middle-aged man's vitality was instantly destroyed by the bloody runes, and he turned into a dried corpse. The dried corpse fell, and Gue Che walked out. He looked around sharply. The middle-aged man was killed by Gue Che. The sudden change caused the other people's faces to change. Immediately, their mysterious chi surged and the runes shone brightly. They were on guard against any unforeseen events. The young man in a snow-white robe also noticed Gue Che. His eyes shone brightly. Then, he looked at Du Xiaofu and forced a smile on his handsome face. He said, "You can have the mystery bone. I don't want to fight with you." The young man in a snow-white robe looked at Du Xiaofu and smiled faintly. He pointed at the young man in a white robe and a middle-aged man who seemed to have fused with the sword in his hand. He said to Du Xiaofu, These two are Huang Ling, Er's battle servants from the Phoenix clan, Luan Jian, and the Taodai clan's battle servant. The young man in a snow-white robe looked at the last three middle-aged men in golden robes, silver robes, and bronze robes. He said to Du Xiaofu with a deep meaning, "I think you should be most interested in the last three. They are the strongest battle servants among the dragons. They are gold 1, silver 2, bronze 3. Dragons?" Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's eyes suddenly changed, and a cold smile appeared on his face. "Those who block me will die." The Violent Bear King, Spiritual Tiger King, Little Ying, Little Falcon, and the others swept through the crowd and appeared behind Du Xiaofu. No one dared to block them. Ghost Chariot, those three must die. Du Xiaofu glanced at gold 1, silver 2, bronze 3, and killing intent flashed in his eyes. Ghost Chariot looked up. There was some hesitation in his red eyes. But it was only a moment of hesitation. Ghost Chariot didn't say anything. His eyes were cold and emotionless as he instantly attacked gold 1, silver 2, bronze 3. Join hands. Gold 1, silver 2, and bronze 3's faces changed drastically as they shouted in unison, "Boom!" The long spears in their hands emitted a dazzling light that was cold and eerie. They formed a joint attack and communicated with their Xian Qi. The runes burned brightly, and the power of their bodies began to skyrocket. They could almost reach the power of a chaotic element martial honorable. Ghost Chariot arrived in the sky. His red eyes were calm, but they were cold and emotionless. An invisible pressure crushed the sky. Chapter 1268. Ghost Chariot did not take gold 1 and the other two seriously. It was not that Ghost Chariot was conceited, but he really did not need to take them seriously. Even if a peak chaotic element martial venerable was in front of him, Ghost Chariot would still be conceited and not take them seriously. Moreover, the three of them only barely had the power of a chaotic element martial venerable when they joined forces. Kill. As Ghost Chariot pounced, Spiritual Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Little Ying pounced at the same time. Spiritual Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Little Ying were the people that the Palace Master wanted to kill. They did not want Ghost Chariot to take all the credit. Ghost Chariot, Spiritual Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Little Ying attacked and immediately pounced on Gold 1 and the other two. A mighty beast aura swept out and shook the space. Gold 1, Tong San, and Silver 3 joined forces. Their spears exploded, causing the void to tremble. The spear light was like lightning, illuminating the space. Die! Ghost Chariot, Spiritual Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Little Ying attacked at the same time. They attacked Gold 1, Tong San, and Silver Air in the most overbearing manner. Boom! The collision was like thunder exploding in the sky. The space in front of the heavenly beast hall trembled and the sky buzzed. Puff puff, violent energy swept out and destroyed Gold 1, Silver Air, and Tong San's joint attack. The three of them were sent flying like a whirlwind. Gold 1 and the other two were peak transcendent martial venerables. They could look down on all the battle servants in front of the heavenly beast hall. They had even obtained many mystic bones. However, even if the three of them joined forces, how could they be a match for Ghost Chariot, Spiritual Tiger King, Little Ying, and Violent Bear King? Even if it were Gold 1 and the other two, if they were to face the Phantom Tiger King alone, the three of them would probably only be able to exchange a few blows. Moreover, the three of them were facing Ghost Chariot and the other four Terror Lords at the same time. Kill. Ghost Chariot's figure Shadow Chariot flew across the sky. With a wave of his hand, crimson light runes burst out in Ghost Chariot. A blood-red light arrow formed. The bloody light was sharp. The bloody light arrow pierced through the void and pierced through Gold 1's chest, killing him directly. The runes on the Violent Bear King and Little Ying's bodies erupted as their beast might surged. Soon after, they each killed Yin Air and Tong San. Everything happened in a few breaths of time. The surrounding battle servants retreated in shock. Seeing Gold 1 and the other two being instantly destroyed, who would dare to step forward? Luan Jian's eyes widened, his gaze fixed on the Phantom Chariot, Phantom Tiger King, and the others. Luan Jian sensed the terrifying beast aura. Those were clearly terrifying demonic beasts at the level of primordial beast supremacy. He did not understand why demonic beasts would appear outside the heavenly beast hall. It was rumored that demonic beasts could not enter the heavenly beast hall. The other middle-aged battle servant from the Taodai clan was even more shocked than Luanjian. His eyes were filled with fear as he retreated silently, afraid that Gui Che and the others would attack him. The white-clothed youth watched as Gui Che, Phantom Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Little Inging killed Tong San and the other two like a whirlwind. The shock in his eyes was no less than Luanjian's. Hall Master, these are their Qinkuan bags. Little Inging didn't care about the Phantom Tiger King and Violent Bear King's deaths at all. He respectfully handed the Qinkuan bags to Du Xiaofu. Those were the Qinkuan bags Tong San and the other battle servants had obtained not long ago. There were also the demonic beast bones they'd obtained earlier. They were all handed over. Guiche didn't say anything. His scarlet eyes flickered as he tossed the Qinkuan bags to Du Xiaofu. Guiche, the white-clothed youth, stared at Guiche and muttered. Suddenly, he seemed to remember something. His eyes trembled, and shock flooded his face. He cried out involuntarily, "Could it be the nine-headed Phoenix clan's Guiche? It's that terrifying guy." The white-clothed youth was thoroughly shocked. Gui Che's reputation in the beast region aside, he was an absolutely terrifying existence. Even the other group of demonic beasts had terrifying auras. At least 3 of them were sovereigns of origin. They were even stronger than him. But now, those demonic beasts were respectful and obedient to the Demon King, Du Xiaofu. They were absolutely subservient to him. The white-clothed youth couldn't help but be astonished. Demonic beast kings absolutely wouldn't submit so casually, much less to a human. Du Xiaofu put away the Qinkuan bags in the hands of Ghost Chariot, Phantom Tiger King, and the others. He glanced at the departing middle-aged battle servant of the Taodai clan. He had no intention of stopping him. Then he looked at Luanjian and said, "Go back and tell Huang Linger that I won't kill you. I've already repaid the favor." "I will." Luanjian gnashed his teeth and nodded. He retreated slightly. The purple-robed youth in front of him was unstoppable. Many of the demonic beasts at his side were sovereigns of origin. This purple-robed youth seemed to be related to the 4th princess. Luanjian knew he couldn't fight back. "Now, can you tell me who you are?" Du Xiaofu looked at the white-clothed young man. He had a handsome appearance, and under his thick eyebrows, his eyes were like gurgling spring water. His temperament was as gentle as the wind, but his body was filled with a special demonic aura. This demonic aura reminded Du Xiaofu of Liu Xiao. However, this youth's demonic aura was different from Liu Xiao's. The white-clothed youth's skin was as clear as jade. His long hair hung on his shoulders and glowed faintly. He looked at Du Xiaofu and smiled helplessly. "Perhaps you've heard of me, Shangguan Qixian?" "Shangguan Qixian." Du Xiaofu raised his eyes and looked at the white-clothed youth. "Guqin Demon?" "That's right. Many people call me Guqin Demon." Shangguan Qixian smiled bitterly. His slender figure stepped into the void. He looked a little wretched at the moment, but he still looked otherworldly. "Guqin Demon Shangguan Qixian." Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows slightly. He had naturally heard of the Guqin Demon Shangguan Qixian. He was one of the 12 heroes of Tianhuang mainland back then. Bailey Wuya of the Golden Spear sect of Ningzhou, Mu Jianchen of the Saming Sword sect of Shangzhou, Mu Qingge of the Thunder Fortress of Leizhou, Hua Zimo of the 100 Flowers sect of Wanzhou, Feng Wuxia of the Snow City of Yuzhou, Yu Zheng Tongxian of the Heavenly Music sect of Yunzhou, Dongli Qihuang of the Great Wheel sect of Zhongzhou, Su Mayan of the Misty Clouds, Shangguan Qixian of the Zither Devil, Dragon 9 of the Dragons, and Huang Ling, of the Phoenix race. They were all among the 12 heroes of Tianhuang mainland back then. Apart from Su Mayan of the Misty Clouds and Shangguan Qixian, Du Xiaofu had met all of them back then on Tianhuang mainland. Looking at Shangguan Qixian in front of him, Du Xiaofu looked straight at him with his clear eyes and said, "I've heard of you. But what's your motive for making me kill the battle servant of the dragons?" Shangguan Qixian's figure straightened a little, and the corners of his red lips curled up slightly, making his temperament even more unrestrained. Looking at Du Xiaofu, the corners of his red lips curled up with some bitterness as he said softly, "I don't have a motive. I just know who you are and the feud between you and the dragons. so I'm doing you a favor in passing. If you want to snatch the opportunity here from me, I won't give in to you." Du Xiaofu looked at Shangguan Qixien with no trace of politeness and was very serious. "I've never thought of snatching it from you." Shangguan Qixien frowned. This ferocious fellow was indeed as difficult to deal with as the rumors said. He was already considered extremely difficult to deal with in the eyes of outsiders, and many people in the outside world were afraid that they could not avoid him in time. But now, Shangguan Qixien felt that he had no confidence in front of this ferocious fellow. As for snatching the opportunity, looking at Guiche and the other kings of the origin beast race standing respectfully in front of that ferocious fellow, Shangguan Qixien had never thought of competing with that ferocious fellow. If he was lucky enough to obtain the opportunity, at most, he would be able to fish in troubled waters. At this moment, many figures in the surroundings looked at each other and at Du Xiaofu's group. No one dared to approach. Even Gold One and the other two from the dragons couldn't withstand a single blow, so how could they dare to approach? A bunch of people who overestimate themselves. If anyone dares to come forward, this king will destroy them all. The Illusion Tiger King looked at the group of battle servants who were looking at each other in shock. Its roar was like thunder, causing the surrounding space to hum. Its eyes were fierce, and even in its human form, it was glaring covetously. Behind the Illusion Tiger King, many demonic beasts looked on with disdain as they scanned the surroundings. These demonic beast kings had always suffered in front of the Demon King, Du Xiaofu. Now that they had finally regained some of their pride, they naturally wouldn't let these battle servants go so easily. Chapter 1269. All the battle servants trembled under the aura of the monster kings. All the battle servants had entered the celestial beast hall to fight for the fortuitous encounters. They carried the orders and hopes of their masters, so they themselves were filled with anticipation. If they could obtain the fortuitous encounters in the celestial beast hall, they would be able to obtain even more cultivation resources when they left. However, when they saw the purple-robed young man and the other monster kings who had no idea how to enter the celestial beast hall, the battle servants were stunned and lost. They did not dare to fight for it at all. Even if Gold One and the others worked together, they would still be wiped out in an instant. They did not even have the right to fight for it now. The purple flame demonic phoenix paid no attention to everything that was happening in the surroundings. Its violet eyes were fixed on the towering door in front of the celestial beast hall. What's in the celestial beast hall? Du Xiaofu arrived beside the purple flame demonic phoenix and stared at the towering door. He seemed to vaguely sense some sort of strange presence that was stirring up a certain presence within his body, as if it had some sort of connection with him. It's rumored that the door to the celestial beast hall has never been opened. Every time a battle servant tries to enter, they are unable to do so. The purple flame demonic phoenix stared at the towering celestial beast hall. At this moment, she could vaguely sense that something within the hall seemed to be tugging at her. Rumble. As soon as the purple flame demonic phoenix finished speaking, the surrounding celestial beast hall suddenly trembled once more. Afterwards, dazzling streaks of light shot down from the top of the hall. Fisses. The 4 dazzling streams of light each had their own color, and a series of strange hissing noises could be heard. The noises were not loud, but they seemed to be echoing in everyone's heads, and were enough to make their primordial spirits tremble. Rumble. The entire space in front of the celestial beast hall trembled as the 4 streaks of light shot down. They were 4 colossal creatures. 4 extremely terrifying auras descended from the sky. The 4 colossal beings hovered in the air. They were all over 1,000 meters long and were condensed from ghastly skeletons. They were covered in resplendent runes. The first skeleton was like a giant python. It was covered in symbols and condensed into a living giant snake. It flicked its tongue, and its eyes were cold and intimidating. The second skeleton had 3 heads and 6 eyes, and it looked down on everyone. Runes condensed, and its enormous body was like a giant dragon. Its 3 heads were like flood dragons, and it was malevolent and terrifying. The third skeleton was covered in dazzling black runes. It was ferocious and lofty, and its eyes looked down on everyone. A bloody light spread out, causing everyone to tremble in fear. The fourth gigantic skeleton was like a dragon or a flood dragon. Its head was like a giant python, and its aura was ancient. Its talisman tail was forked like a hook, as if it could pierce through the void. Under the cover of the flickering runes, the four enormous skeletons were like living creatures. All of them had ancient auras: ancient viper, three-headed sea dragon snake, blackwater mystical snake, ancient hook snake. The purple flame demonic phoenix's beautiful purple eyes rippled as it looked at the four enormous creatures in the air. Oh my God! It looks like the complete skeleton of an ancient viper. And the skeletons of the three-headed sea dragon snake and the blackwater mystical snake. Oh my God! There are even skeletons of the ancient hook snake. The surrounding battle servants were in an uproar, and their eyes were filled with astonishment. The ancient viper, three-headed sea dragon snake, blackwater mystical snake, and ancient hook snake were the four pinnacle existences of the snake clan. Du Xiaofu's gaze fell on the skeletons of the ancient viper, three-headed sea dragon snake, blackwater mystical snake, and ancient hook snake, and his eyes trembled slightly. The four skeletons had powerful auras. The skeletons were wrapped in dazzling runes, and their eyes flickered with light, frightening and hollow. They are all complete skeletons, and they have ancient hook bones. Looking carefully at the four enormous skeletons, Du Xiaofu's eyes couldn't help but twitch. He was extremely shocked. The four skeletons were the four pinnacle existences of the snake clan. The four skeletons mysteriously occupied the air. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's pupil shrank. Du Xiaofu saw a murderous intent surging from the four skeletons' eyes. Murderous intent. A wave of shock surged from Du Xiaofu's eyes, and his heart trembled. Hiss, hiss. The four enormous creatures flicked their tongues. Their enormous bodies twisted, and the sound of bones rubbing against each other could be heard. The four enormous creatures looked at the countless battle servants in front of them, and their murderous intent surged out. Their auras instantly increased, and dazzling runes shone as they directly pounced forward. Kill. The four enormous skeletons and the runes on their bodies shone brightly. Their enormous bodies were as fast as lightning, and in a flash, they brought with them a sharp gust of wind as they soared through the air and attacked the numerous battle servants. The four enormous creatures' target wasn't just Du Xiaofu, Phantom Tiger King, Ghost Chariot, and the others, but everyone. Just skeletons. You want to show off your power when you're dead? The ancient viper skeleton pounced over like a living creature. The violent bear king roared and punched with his bare hands. Vast amounts of energy gushed out and dazzling runes appeared. His fist was wrapped in rune light and directly collided with the ancient viper. Bang! The energy clashed like thunder, and the runes surged. Furious Bear King's human body instantly fell from the sky like a bird with broken wings, and he landed heavily on the ground. Humph! Although Furious Bear King didn't spit out blood, he let out a muffled groan. Apparently, he had suffered a great loss. As for the enormous ancient viper skeleton, it didn't even budge. Bang, bang, bang. There were continuous explosions as the ancient hook snake swept its huge tail. Its tail was like a sharp hook, and it pierced through the void, cutting the bodies of several battle servants in front of it into blood mist. The three heads of the three-headed sea dragon snake hissed, and it looked ferocious and bloody. Three martial honorable realm battle servants were swallowed by its ferocious mouth. The blackwater mystical snake flew across the void and fought with Luanjian. Clang! Luanjian swung his long sword, and he became one with it. The sword radiance shot out, piercing through the void, and clashed with the blackwater mystical snake. The runes on the blackwater mystical snake's body shattered, and a terrifying force swept out, forcing Luanjian back. Luanjian's body fell to the ground. He slid across the ground for more than 10 meters before he could stabilize himself. Blood spilled out of his mouth. Luanjian's sword radiance had mysteriously destroyed the runes on the blackwater mystical snake skeleton, leaving a deep sword radiance mark on the blackwater mystical snake skeleton. However, Luanjian's sword radiance had only left a sword radiance mark on the blackwater mystical snake skeleton, and it didn't have much of an impact. Sword essence. Du Xiaofu looked at Luanjian, and his expression changed slightly. On Luan Jian's sword just now, Du Xiaofu felt the existence of a kind of sword intent. Although the sword essence wasn't very obvious, it was about to take shape. Then, Du Xiaofu looked at the 4 giant snake skeletons, and he was shocked. Du Xiaofu estimated that the aura of the 6 giant snake skeletons was at least at the level of a Nirvana beast master, coupled with the fact that they were skeletons, which made them even more difficult to deal with. Trespassers of the Celestial Beast Hall, die. The 4 giant skeletons roared in a muffled voice, and their terrifying aura continued to surge. Streaks of resplendent energy burst out, and they continued to attack the surrounding battle servants. Bang, bang, bang. Muffled explosions rang out from time to time. The 4 colossi swept out, destroying and killing unlucky battle servants. Some of the battle servants used their abilities, pulse souls, and doctrine artifacts to fight back in a panic, but they couldn't stop them at all. The 4 giant skeletons twisted their bodies and swept across, destroying everything. At this moment, the 4 giant skeletons seemed to have some intelligence. As long as it was a living thing, they wouldn't stop attacking. Large swathes of battle servants were killed, turning into bloody mist. They couldn't fight back at all. Run, run. Those skeletons are too strong. Run. The surrounding battle servants all retreated in fear, not daring to get any closer. Some of them even began to retreat behind the Raging Bear King, Phantom Tiger King, Ghost Chariot, and Littling Ying, hoping that the Raging Bear King, Ghost Chariot, and the others could stop the 4 giant skeletons. Chapter 1270. Hiss Hiss. The 4 Serpent Clan demonic beast skeletons spat out their symbol tongues as they pounced towards the Ghost Chariot, the Wild Bear King, and the Spiritual Tiger King. These dead things are too arrogant. The Wild Bear King had already suffered a small loss. When he saw the 4 skeletons pouncing towards him again, the symbol on his body flashed and he immediately transformed into the wild earth-shattering bear. Roar. Almost at the same time, the Spiritual Tiger King and Littling Ying also activated the demonic fire Spiritual Tiger and Littling Ying's true forms. The 3 huge demonic beasts rose from the ground, and a terrifying aura erupted from them. Ku. The injuries on the Ghost Chariot's body were far from healed. When it felt the aura of the ancient viper and the other skeletons, it did not dare to be careless and immediately activated the 9-headed phoenix. However, only 8 of the 9 heads of the Ghost Chariot were left. One of them was destroyed by Du Xiaofu and had yet to recover. The Ghost Chariot 9-headed phoenix only had the middle head as its core and could not be destroyed. If the other 8 heads were destroyed, its strength would be greatly reduced, but its life would not be in danger. The Spiritual Tiger King, the Ghost Chariot, and the other 3 beasts appeared. The 4 huge creatures rose from the ground, and 4 terrifying auras surged in all directions. Heavens, it's the Spiritual Tiger King, the Wild Bear King, and the mysterious Nether Demon Dragon. 9-headed Phoenix Clan, I know. That's the Ghost Chariot. Seeing the Spiritual Tiger King and the other 3 huge creatures, the shock in the hearts of the surrounding battle servants lasted for a while before it immediately turned into horror. At this moment, the ancient viper and the other 3 huge creatures made everyone's hearts tremble. Can't we deal with you dead things? The Raging Bear King once again charged at the ancient viper. His feet stomped on the ground, causing the space to tremble. The runes on his body shone brightly. His huge body's attacks were as fast as lightning. His huge fist covered in runes was like a meteorite as it viciously smashed towards the ancient viper. Chi. Although the ancient viper was a dead creature, it was like a living creature at this moment. Facing the Wild Bear King's fist, its huge body twisted and turned. Its huge tail swept out and drew a beautiful arc behind it, directly blocking the Wild Bear King's fist. Bang! At that moment, the collision caused a low sound to ring out. Another muffled groan came from Raging Bear King's throat, and a trace of blood appeared in his ferocious mouth. His huge feet staggered back from the square. At the same time, the Phantom Tiger King's demonic fire Phantom Tiger, Littling Ying's Winged Dragon, and even Gue Che's 9-headed phoenix were all knocked back. Ghost Chariot was fine. Although it had suffered some losses, it was not a big deal. However, The spiritual illusion Tiger King and Little Ing Ying's demonic fire spiritual illusion tiger and Little Ing Ying's true forms were sent flying backwards, coughing up blood. The four gigantic snake skeletons once again coiled up in the air and hissed. An astonishing pressure swept out, causing the wind and clouds to surge. Seeing that the Phantom Chariot, Phantom Tiger King, and Violent Bear King were also at a disadvantage, the expressions of the surrounding battle servants changed drastically. Even Ghost Chariot and Savage Bear King couldn't stop the four giant snake skeletons. They couldn't help but feel terrified. Little Falcon and the other demonic beasts all retreated. The Phantom Chariot and the others were no match for the skeletons, and they knew that they were even less of a match. They would only be courting death if they charged forward. The four giant snake skeletons were inanimate objects. They had only retained their murderous nature. They were even more terrifying than killing machines. Even the terrifying Ghost Chariot could not deal with them. The consequences were obvious. Outside the Celestial Beast Hall, no one could even escape. These skeletons are extraordinary. Du Xiaofu looked at the sky. Sensing the four giant snake skeletons, he was moved. When these four skeletons were alive, they were all above the beast domain realm. Even though they're only skeletons now, they're still quite powerful. I wonder why they still retain their murderous nature. The purple flame demonic phoenix seemed to be talking to Du Xiaofu. She said, however, the energy in these skeletons should be related to the secret bones. As long as we dig out the secret bones, we should be able to destroy them. How great would it be if these skeletons could be used by me? Looking at the four terrifying skeletons, Du Xiaofu's eyes burned with passion. If these skeletons could be used by him, they wouldn't be in the house of advanced puppets. They would be much more powerful than the Yun Zun in his body. Hiss hiss. The four giant snake skeletons only had murderous intent. At this moment, they once again charged towards Savage Bear King, Ghost Chariot, and the others. Murderous intent surged in their eyes. Fight! The remaining 8 skeletons of Ghost Chariot roared. They were about to fight with their lives on the line. Fight! Phantom Tiger King, Savage Bear King, and Little Ing Ying's eyes were filled with anger. At this point, they could only fight with all their might. Hiss hiss. The ancient viper skeleton continued to pounce on the Violent Bear King. Its huge body hovered in the sky. Its ferocious head swooped down like a bolt of lightning towards Savage Bear King. Do you think I'm easy to bully? Savage Bear King roared angrily. Its huge body soared into the sky. It was about to activate its berserk power to attack the ancient viper. Hiss! Just as Savage Bear King was about to attack, a beautiful figure appeared in front of Savage Bear King in a flash. Compared to Savage Bear King's huge body, the beautiful figure seemed extremely small. But at this moment, the aura emanating from the beautiful figure wasn't any weaker than Savage Bear King's. In fact, the aura directly suppressed and diluted Savage Bear King's aura. The beautiful figure swept across the sky. Purple light seeped out of the void. A scorching aura descended. It made one's skin burn, and one's origin spirit felt like it was about to be burned. A purple fiery palm print shot out from the beautiful figure's hand. The palm print expanded in the wind, becoming hundreds of feet large. The runes within the palm print faintly formed the illusion of a purple demonic phoenix. With unparalleled heat, it clashed with the ancient viper's ferocious head in a flash. Facing the illusion of the purple demonic phoenix, the killing intent in the ancient viper skeleton's eyes suddenly surged with fear. The two immediately clashed. Walala! There was no muffled sound of energy, only purple flames that covered the heavens, and the earth whistled as they gushed out, and they easily burned the dazzling talisman markings on the body of the ancient viper that was sufficient to reach the level of a nirvana beast venerable, revealing ghastly fluorescent bones. At the same time, her graceful body appeared behind the ferocious head of the ancient viper. She reached out with her slender hand, and purple flames gathered. Her 5 fingers curled slightly, and a claw mark fell into the eerie bones, and a secret bone was pulled out. Sizzle! As the secret bone was pulled out, the light on the ancient viper's huge skeleton immediately dimmed. The huge skeleton fell from the sky onto the square. The skeleton was twisted, and its aura was violent. However, The light in its eyes gradually dimmed and finally disappeared. There were still some energy fluctuations on the ancient viper's body, but it gradually calmed down. The huge skeleton exuded a shocking beast aura that made everyone's heart tremble. However, it no longer had any killing intent. Evil creature. Almost at the same time, Du Xiaofu appeared before the Phantom Tiger King's ancient hook snake skeleton. Swish! The ancient hook serpent's sharp tail tore through the void, leaving a huge spatial mark in its wake. In an instant, it had reached Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu raised his eyes as a dazzling golden light erupted from his body like a blazing sun. His clear eyes were filled with golden runes at this moment. Faced with the ancient hook snake skeleton's giant tail, Du Xiaofu's figure stomped on the air. His right arm shook, and his 5 fingers curled slightly. Mysterious runes flickered on his fingertips, as if they wanted to tear apart space. Energy ripples visible to the naked eye spread out from the claw. Great rock chaos shattering claw. In this instant, the aura on Du Xiaofu's body was like that of a peerless, ferocious beast. A claw extended from his hand. Dazzling, mysterious runes wreaked havoc like golden lightning. It was as if a golden-winged rock was about to spread its wings and soar into the 9 heavens. The eruption of such a tyrannical and terrifying aura immediately shocked the numerous battle servants in the surroundings. Under the claw, the densely packed figures in the surroundings all felt their blood vessels and souls tremble. Sizzle! Under the terrifying golden light claw, the aura of a supreme being descended. Fear flashed across the eyes of the ancient hook serpent illusory figure. Golden light erupted from the latter's claw. It was as if countless golden lightning snakes had shot out. It ruthlessly landed on the ancient hook snake's tail in an incomparably tyrannical manner. It directly flipped the ancient hook snake's tail over with an unstoppable force. Like a hot knife through butter, everything was routed. In the next instant, Du Xiaofu's figure drifted like a god. He appeared under the ancient hook snake skeleton in an unfathomable manner. The claw destroyed the energy runes on the ancient hook snake skeleton and forcefully pulled out a mysterious bone. Walala! The runes in the sky shattered. A terrifying energy storm spread out in an arc in the air. Bang bang! The energy on the ancient hook snake skeleton dissipated. The huge skeleton fell onto the square, twisting and hissing. However, it no longer posed a threat. Everyone was instantly stunned by this scene. Everyone's gazes immediately fell on Du Xiaofu and his lithe body, and they were stunned into a daze. Even the Raging Bear King and the Fantasy Tiger King were no match for them. However, the purple-robed young man and the purple-dressed woman could destroy them with a single move. Just how terrifying was their strength? Chapter 1271. Bang Bang! Littling Ying and Ghost Chariot's huge bodies were once again pushed back in this short period of time. Littling Ying's body was hit by the energy spat out by the middle head of the 3-headed sea dragon snake. Littling Ying's back was hit, and blood flowed out like a fountain. It was a serious injury. Ghost Chariot's huge 9-headed phoenix body had not recovered to its peak because of the battle with Du Xiaofu. Its huge body was once again pushed back by the Blackwater mystical snake, but this time, the Blackwater mystical snake skeleton was also pushed back a little. Hiss hiss! The 3-headed sea dragon snake and the Blackwater mystical snake only knew how to kill. They did not know how to retreat, and their eyes were filled with murderous intent. Because of Ying Long and Ghost Chariot, it fixed its eyes on young Ying and Ghost Chariot. It roared deeply and let out a terrifying hissing noise. Within a blink of an eye, its enormous body once again pounced on young Ying and Ghost Chariot. Let me help you. The violent Bear King and spiritual Tiger King who had just escaped spoke. Their huge bodies soared into the air, and in a triangular formation, they were about to attack the 3-headed sea dragon snake skeleton that was pouncing towards the spiritual Tiger King. Back off! Don't hurt my skeleton! Du Xiaofu did not stop, and his figure appeared in front of Littling Ying like a ghost. He looked nervous, afraid that the spiritual Tiger King, violent Bear King, and Littling Ying would work together to hurt the 3-headed sea dragon snake skeleton. This was the complete skeleton of the 3-headed sea dragon snake. Even without the secret bones, it was still a great treasure. Moreover, after seeing the terrifying power of these snake skeletons, Du Xiaofu was still thinking about not destroying the three-headed sea dragon snake skeleton. Although Du Xiaofu knew that even if the spiritual Tiger King, Littling Ying, and Violent Bear King worked together, they would not be able to do anything to the three-headed sea dragon snake skeleton. Boom! With a burst of golden light, Du Xiaofu slapped out with his hand. The sky-shaking wings flapped out, and a golden storm swept out. The three heads of the three-headed sea dragon snake were shaken back, and the huge skeletal body began to spin in midair. Chi! A golden light appeared under the head of the three-headed sea dragon, and Du Xiaofu's figure appeared. His hand shot out like lightning, and a golden rainbow pierced through the sky as he pulled out a secret bone. Bang! As the secret bone was pulled out, the huge skeleton of the three-headed sea dragon snake immediately fell from the sky. The bright and frightening light in the eyes of the skeleton gradually disappeared. Bang! The ghost chariot and the dark water serpent's skeleton clashed against each other at lightning speed. Spell symbols and energy surged out. Qila, the ghost chariot, was the one who was at a disadvantage. Its huge body was knocked back continuously, and its 8 ferocious heads were all covered in dark red beast blood. Bastard! Du Xiaofu flashed across the sky and showed up on the dark water serpent's enormous back at lightning speed. A fist silhouette wrapped in a golden light fiercely landed on the dark water serpent's body. Golden light burst out from the fist, accompanied by the trumpeting of the divine elephant. The power of the fist was unstoppable. It destroyed the talisman symbols on the back of the dark water mystical serpent. The impact made the dark water mystical serpent fall from the sky. Bang! The dark water mystical serpent's enormous body fell and landed on the square in an instant. Du Xiaofu landed on the ground and suppressed the dark water mystical serpent's body. He bent down and pulled out a secret bone from the dark water mystical serpent's back. As the secret bone was pulled out, the dark water mystical serpent's enormous body stopped wriggling, and the frightening light in its eyes dimmed. Qila, as the 4th secret bone was pulled out by Du Xiaofu, on the tightly shut gate of the Heavenly Beast Palace, there were faint ripples of talisman symbols that no one could see. Only the purple flame demonic phoenix's purple eyes landed on the gate of the Heavenly Beast Palace. Purple light flashed in its eyes. The 4 terrifying serpent skeletons were finally suppressed. Their enormous bodies landed on the square like 4 giant dragons. Even though the secret bone was pulled out and was no longer a threat, the terrifying aura from the 4 skeletons was still enough to make people's hearts pound. These 4 serpent skeletons are also great treasures. The battle servants' eyes trembled as they stared at the 4 terrifying skeletons in shock. The weakest of the battle servants present was a martial emperor. Regardless of whether it was in terms of eyesight or talent, they were all top-notch. Naturally, they were able to tell that the 4 snake skeletons were extraordinary. Even if the secret bones were removed, they were still absolutely precious treasures. However, although many of the battle servants were greedy for the 4 skeletons, they did not dare to go up to them. Not to mention Gui Che, Phantom Tiger King, Wild Bear King, and the Winged Dragon. No one could do anything to them. The most terrifying thing was the purple-robed young man and the purple-dressed woman. They could easily suppress the skeletons that even Gui Che could not suppress. It was impossible to fight against such strength. If they provoked the purple-robed young man and the purple-dressed woman, they would not even know how they died. Gui Che stared at Du Xiaofu, his eyes glowing red. His heart was pounding. After the ferocious human had officially broken through to the chaotic element martial venerable, the gap between them had widened. He's getting more and more ferocious. The zither devil, Shangguan Qixian, watched from afar and did not make a move. Looking at the cultivation of Gui Che, Wild Bear King, Winged Dragon, and Phantom Tiger King, Shangguan Qixian knew that he would be difficult to deal with. He was even less of a match for the 4 skeletons. Why should he go out and look for trouble? Luanjian had already retreated. There was some blood at the corner of his mouth. He looked at the purple-robed young man in the distance with a puzzled and shocked expression. Luanjian did not know whether the purple-robed young man was human or beast. If he was human, his aura was even more ferocious than a ferocious beast. Why would Gue Che, Phantom Tiger King, Wild Bear King, and the Winged Dragon submit to him? However, if the purple-robed young man was a demonic beast, Luanjian, as a battle servant, had been with the Phoenix clan for a long time. He could feel that there was a big gap between the purple-robed young man and a demonic beast. Who is that purple-robed young man? He's too strong. The woman's aura is also that of a demonic beast. She seems to be even stronger. Is the purple-robed young man a human or a demonic beast? He's so domineering. There was a lot of discussion in the surroundings. They were stunned, shocked, and had a lingering fear. After Du Xiaofu dug out the third bone and put it in his Qinkuan bag, he looked at the purple flame demonic phoenix. After the woman helped to deal with the first skeleton, she turned and left. This made Du Xiaofu a little unhappy, but he did not dare to show it. Following the purple flame demonic phoenix's gaze, Du Xiaofu looked at the gate of the heavenly beast hall and suddenly exclaimed. Du Xiaofu saw that the tightly shut gate of the heavenly beast hall was becoming more and more dazzling, and the rune light area was becoming bigger and bigger. In the end, the dazzling rune light covered a gate that was several feet wide and tall. Oh woo! When the gate opened, the faint roar of thousands of beasts could be heard. The aura was fierce like a tide. Just the roar of the demonic beast alone caused the bodies of many battle servants to tremble and involuntarily stagger back. What a terrifying aura! Gue Che, Raging Bear King, Littling Ying, Spiritual Tiger King, and the others returned to their human forms. They looked at the opened gate of the heavenly beast hall and trembled in fear. The roar of thousands of beasts was even more terrifying to the demonic beasts. It seemed to come from the soul and bloodline and could not be resisted. Trespassers, die! As the roar of thousands of beasts sounded, a terrifying voice also came from the gate, as if it came from the depths of hell. Only those 4 simple words fell in everyone's ears, making them feel terrified for no reason. When the voice sounded, the surroundings fell into an eerie silence. Behind the gate, the runes dissipated, and a dark hole appeared. It was like a bottomless black hole. For a moment, the square fell into an awkward atmosphere. The 4 terrifying skeletons from before had already made everyone fearful. At this moment, no one dared to enter. It might be even more dangerous inside. Once they entered, it was obvious that they would not be able to leave. Du Xiaofu narrowed his eyes and stared at the deep gate of the heavenly beast hall. There was a faint aura coming from it, and it seemed to be related to him. Just as everyone looked at each other awkwardly, the purple flame demonic phoenix tapped on the ground and drew a beautiful arc. In the next instant, it appeared in front of the deep gate of the heavenly beast hall. Swish! As the purple flame demonic phoenix appeared, a purple light pillar pierced through space like lightning and shot out from the gate. It appeared in front of the purple flame demonic phoenix with lightning speed. The purple flame demonic phoenix's expression changed. Her delicate hand seals changed and a purple flame spurted out, colliding with the purple light pillar. Dang dang! This kind of collision did not produce a loud energy sonic boom. However, the beautiful figure of the purple flame demonic phoenix was directly pushed back in the collision. The soles of her feet rubbed against the ground as she retreated. Her delicate face instantly turned pale. How can this be? The purple flame demonic phoenix raised her head and stared at the deep gate. There was no shock in her eyes. Instead, surprise surged in her eyes. It was as if she had seen the most shocking thing in her life. Swish! As the purple rune pillar disappeared, another purple light pillar pierced through space from the deep gate of the heavenly beast hall. Be careful! At this moment, Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered. The tip of his foot tapped on the ground and his body shot out like a great rock spreading its wings. Chapter 1272. Golden light exploded and Du Xiaofu appeared in front of the purple flame demonic phoenix, who had not yet stabilized herself. Chila. A golden fingerprint shot out from Du Xiaofu's fingertip to resist the purple light energy, but it was instantly destroyed by the purple light, unable to resist at all. Du Xiaofu's expression suddenly changed. He now knew why the purple flame demonic phoenix was unable to resist the energy. The purple light seemed to be dazzling, but one could only feel the scorching heat and terrifying pressure when facing it. The heat could destroy everything, and the pressure was not below that of the golden-winged rock. Chila. In an instant, golden light soared into the sky. Behind Du Xiaofu, there seemed to be a dazzling golden light soaring into the sky as the rock spread its golden wings. Boom! The golden wings shone with a dazzling golden light. Golden light flowed like a golden torrent, carrying an incomparably domineering aura. In an instant, the wings wrapped tightly around the front of the body. The golden wings wrapped tightly around the body, and the golden light became even more dazzling. The mysterious runes on the talisman flickered and emitted a blazing light. There was a faint image of a huge golden-winged rock flapping its wings, about to soar into the sky. In an instant, an inexplicable ferocious aura spread out, causing people to tremble in fear. Boom! The scorching purple light landed on the rock's golden wings in front of Du Xiaofu, destroying the mysterious runes on the rock's golden wings. The terrifying energy poured out, destroying the golden-winged rock's shadow. The dazzling runes shattered and erupted from the impact, causing Du Xiaofu's body to fly in a straight line. Qi-La. Du Xiaofu's body landed on the square behind him like a bird with broken wings. His butt hit the ground, and he only stopped after scraping the square by several feet. Faint black marks appeared on the rock's golden wings. Those were the marks of being instantly burned by a terrifying heat. The heat contained in the purple light was too terrifying. An ordinary nirvana martial saint's body would not be able to withstand it. Puchi. Du Xiaofu stood up and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of pale golden blood. His eyes were filled with astonishment and astonishment. Under the scorching heat, there was a familiar aura. This aura was exactly the same as the purple flame demonic phoenix's aura. Du Xiaofu could not help but be surprised. It's not something you can resist right now. Do you want to die? The purple flame demonic phoenix appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. It looked at Du Xiaofu with a complicated expression in its purple eyes. Do you think I want to? It's all because you're injured. Du Xiaofu replied unhappily. He didn't know why, but he didn't think much and immediately pounced on her. Du Xiaofu was furious that the woman in front of him didn't appreciate his kind intentions and helped her out of goodwill. What does my injury have to do with you? Wouldn't it be better for you if I were to die? Then, you would be safe. The purple flame demonic phoenix looked at Du Xiaofu and said, I didn't think much when I saw that you were injured. Du Xiaofu looked at the purple flame demonic phoenix and suddenly realized that he had said something wrong. He raised his eyebrows and changed the topic. You are little Xingxing's mother. If you die, little Xingxing will blame me for the rest of his life. The purple flame demonic phoenix looked at the purple-robed youth in front of her. She thought about how this fellow had pounced on her without hesitation a few seconds ago. After hearing his words, ripples appeared in the depths of her heart. It was like a dragonfly suddenly flying across the calm surface of the water, leaving behind ripples. The purple flame demonic phoenix had always been indifferent to the human before her. With little Xingxing's appearance, a rather strange and complicated relationship began to form between the two of them. In the past few years, little Xingxing had accompanied her, causing her to like the special little girl more and more. She would often hear little Xingxing mention the youth before her, which even made her feel a little jealous. However, she also remembered that fellow in her heart. She also knew that the human youth before her seemed to be different from the humans she had always believed him to be. In her heart, humans were greedy, selfish, and unscrupulous creatures. They were the most insignificant creatures. However, she seemed to have learned something different from little Xingxing. She could tell from little Xingxing's words that although this fellow was cruel, he cared for little Xingxing a lot and loved her dearly. During this period of time, everything she had seen and heard had gradually changed. The purple-robed youth before her did not seem to be the same as other humans. A while later, the purple flame demonic phoenix glanced at Du Xiaofu and said, I don't need your help. There seems to be a senior of my purple flame demonic phoenix clan in there. As soon as we try to approach, we will be attacked. It's not something you can handle. If you don't want to die, move aside and don't approach the Imperial Pivot Hall. After saying that, the purple flame demonic phoenix looked at the entrance of the Heavenly Beast Hall. Her purple eyes were filled with doubt. The energy fluctuation of the purple light earlier had allowed her to confirm that it was the aura of a purple-flamed demonic Phoenix clan ancestor. The Celestial Beast Hall had a senior of the purple-flame demonic Phoenix clan. Or it could be said that the Celestial Beast Hall had once contained a senior of the purple-flame demonic Phoenix clan. Du Xiaofu said nothing, just in case he angered the woman. With his current strength, even the cultivation of beast domain experts would be suppressed in the Celestial Beast Hall. He probably would not be able to stand up to the woman right now. If it weren't for little Xingxing, I wouldn't have bothered with you. Du Xiaofu found a way out for himself. He was furious inside. No wonder people said that the prettier a woman was, the more difficult it was to deal with. It was the same for demonic beasts. The prettier a demonic beast was, the more difficult it was to deal with. Whoosh! The purple flame demonic phoenix shot towards the entrance of the Celestial Beast Hall again. The streak of purple light shot out once more, piercing through space. Ku! As the hand seal was formed, a blazing purple flame surged out from the graceful figure of the purple flame demonic phoenix. Within the billowing purple flame, a huge purple flame demonic phoenix phantom slowly emerged. It was like a purple sun that covered the sky, and it was displayed in an incomparably terrifying manner on the square. At that moment, the purple flame demonic phoenix spread its wings. Monstrous energy swept out, and a monstrous presence permeated the air. It seemed like it wanted to overturn the space before the Celestial Beast Hall. She's actually from the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan. Gui Che, Phantom Tiger King, Little Ying, Violent Bear King, Little Falcon, Zither Demon Shangwan Qixian, Wan Jian, and the others were shocked. Only now did they know that the terrifying woman was actually from the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan. The Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix was the rarest existence in the Phoenix clan. The Phoenix clan had a total of 5 main clans. It was said that the ancestral phoenix of the Phoenix clan gave birth to 5 different bloodlines, mainly possessing 5 different colors. The majority of the 5 colors were red. The majority of the colors were red. The majority of the colors were yellow. The majority of the colors were yellow. The majority of the colors were purple. The majority of the colors were purple. The Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan was also known as the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan. The Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan was definitely not inferior to the pure-blooded Phoenix bloodline within the Phoenix clan. It was even rumored that the bloodline of the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan was even higher than the pure-blooded Phoenixes. Chapter 1273. This was because as time passed, the bloodline of the Phoenix clan had become thinner and thinner. Although there were still many pure-blooded Phoenixes, they naturally could not compare to the bloodline of the ancient Phoenix. In addition, the various bloodlines of the Phoenix, Swan, Blue Luan, Swanee, Phoenix, and others had intermarried and mixed together. The Phoenix bloodline of the descendants was a mess. Although there would occasionally be abnormal bloodlines that would surge out, most of them were just bloodlines that were getting thinner and thinner. Moreover, those extraordinary mutated Phoenix bloodlines couldn't possibly surpass pure-blooded Phoenixes. As the supreme existence of the beast race in this world, the Phoenix race's bloodline was extremely noble. They were blessed by the heavens, and their descendants could not surpass them. Among the 5 Phoenix clans, the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan was the most loyal and unyielding. Both sexes flew together. It was rumored that when one of the sexes in the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan died, the other would mourn endlessly until the blood in its body cooled and dried up. Then, it would follow the other to the underworld and would never exist alone. Therefore, until now, the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix's bloodline had always been the purest among the 5 Phoenix clans. It was completely derived from the ancestral Phoenix's bloodline. Some speculated that the bloodline of the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenixes was even superior to that of the pure-blooded Phoenixes. It was just that the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan had very few members to begin with, and they didn't dare to be interested in power. Therefore, among the 5 Phoenix clans, the pure-blooded Phoenixes had always been in charge of commanding the birds. When Gui Che, Wan Jian, and the others saw that the purple-dressed woman was actually a member of the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan, they couldn't help but be shocked. Little Ying, the illusion tiger, the violent bear king, and the others finally understood why Huang Linger of the Phoenix clan would respectfully address the purple-dressed woman as elder sister. It turned out that they were from the same clan. Chi, as the purple flame demonic phoenix condensed into a purple flame demonic phoenix's shadow, the purple brilliance that pierced through the void strangely floated in front of the purple flame demonic phoenix. However, under everyone's shocked gazes, the brilliance of the purple brilliance slowly dissipated. Voila! The purple flame demonic phoenix's silhouette flapped its wings and merged with the purple flame demonic phoenix's silhouette. It instantly flew into the heavenly beast hall and disappeared. What's going on? Du Xiaofu was puzzled. He cautiously took a few steps forward and activated the beast energy of the purple flame demonic phoenix clan. Purple flames billowed as if he had turned into a purple flame demonic phoenix. This wasn't just the beast ability of the purple flame demonic phoenix. It also carried the bloodline aura of the purple flame demonic phoenix clan. How could that savage guy be related to the purple flame demonic phoenix clan? Gui Che, Shangguan Qixian, Phantom Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and the others couldn't help but be surprised again. The Demon King's divine abilities were truly endless. Boom! Du Xiaofu cautiously approached the heavenly beast hall. All of a sudden, a terrifying aura burst out from the heavenly beast hall's main entrance. Like a black hole, the aura slammed into Du Xiaofu's body at an unimaginable speed, devouring the purple flame demonic phoenix phantoms around him. Not good. Phantom Tiger King, Violent Bear King, Littling Ying, and the others paled. Before they could react, the strange entrance to the heavenly beast hall disappeared in an instant, along with the Demon King who had been devoured. After that, the strange entrance dimmed and no trace of it could be found. Where did they go? Violent Bear King, Phantom Tiger King, Littling Ying, and Little Falcon exchanged glances. All the battle servants behind them were shocked as they watched the purple-robed beauty and the purple-robed youth disappear from the heavenly beast hall. Rumor has it that no one has ever been able to enter the heavenly beast hall. How did they get in? According to the ancient legends, the heavenly beast hall contains great benefits. Whoever obtains the heavenly beast hall will obtain the beast region. Are they going to obtain the great benefits inside the heavenly beast hall? That's not necessarily true. Maybe they'll die inside. The legends aren't necessarily true. Everyone discussed fervently, but no one dared to step forward. They were afraid of encountering danger again. The changes outside the heavenly beast hall weren't something they could resist. The Blackwater mystical snake, the three-headed sea dragon snake, the ancient viper snake, and the ancient hook snake were still lying on the plaza. Looking at the four skeletons, everyone still had lingering fear in their eyes. They knew that if it weren't for the mysterious purple-robed young man and the beautiful purple-dressed woman, everyone would have perished here. Just the four terrifying skeletons of the Snake Clan were not something that they could withstand. In this sealed space, they were afraid that they would be killed by the four skeletons. After Du Xiaofu and the purple flame demonic phoenix entered the heavenly beast hall, the surroundings quieted down. The silence was oppressive. Everyone looked at each other. They couldn't leave this sealed space. What do we do? The hall master went in as well. Will he be in danger? Little Falcon frowned. He raised his head and asked Phantom Tiger King, Violent Bear King, and Littling Ying. It's said that no one has ever entered the heavenly beast hall. I wonder if it's a blessing or a curse. Phantom Tiger King's humanoid eyes flickered. He didn't know what to do. There was nothing he could do. The hall master is not simple. Even if he's in danger, he should be able to protect himself. Violent Bear King said weakly. Although he was forced to become a follower, he had to admit that the Demon King, Du Xiaofu, was a freakish human. Why don't we go and see if we can enter the heavenly beast hall? Littling Ying looked at the heavenly beast hall closely. He wanted to find an opportunity, but he didn't dare to go forward. Even the purple flame demonic phoenix was injured. Wait, Ghost Chariot said unexpectedly. He seemed to be talking to Phantom Tiger King, Violent Bear King, Littling Ying, Little Falcon, and the others. It was a simple word, but it was filled with an undeniable aura. Phantom Tiger King, Violent Bear King, Littling Ying, and Little Falcon looked at Ghost Chariot. Their hearts trembled. They looked at each other and didn't say anything. Du Xiaofu lost control of himself under the terrifying energy in the heavenly beast hall. Even his soul trembled under the terrifying energy. He lost consciousness for a moment. When Du Xiaofu regained his consciousness, he found himself in a vast space filled with seven-colored light. It was like a river of stars. In the space, an illusory great path streaked across the sky, as if it was crossing the heavens. Du Xiaofu stood in the illusory path. He couldn't help but travel through the air. The aura around him was soul-shaking. Roar, woo woo, moo. All sorts of beastly roars echoed in the illusory space. Enormous beasts roared out one after another, about to pounce out of the vast space. These beasts were not illusory. Instead, they were their true forms. There were ferocious birds and powerful beasts. They roared and hissed as if they were alive. Their eyes flickered with lightning, and their auras made Du Xiaofu's soul tremble in fear even though he had a spiritual root and two types of spiritual thunders. Each and every one of these terrifying demonic beasts had a terrifying aura that came from ancient times. The majority of these demonic beasts were existences that Du Xiaofu had never seen before. However, the terrifying and ferocious pressure that they emitted was something that even the demonic beasts at the top of the heavenly beast ranking could not compare with. The further he went, the more powerful the pressure from the beasts became. Du Xiaofu was certain that the beasts here were all existences that could shake the world. However, for some reason, they were trapped here, and he didn't know if they were dead or alive. The vast space that resembled the starry sky was like a vortex of time and space. Du Xiaofu flew through the air, encountering countless ancient beasts along the way. They roared and howled, and their auras were terrifying. They possessed an ancient presence that transcended time and space. Chapter 1274. The further he went, the more terrifying the auras of the demonic beasts Du Xiaofu saw. In the end, the auras of the demonic beasts were enough to make Du Xiaofu tremble in fear. Even with Du Xiaofu's current strength and the protection of the golden-winged rock's aura, he was unable to resist the ancient and ferocious aura. Roar! The vast space trembled incessantly. Runes flickered, and the roars of the demonic beasts were deafening. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's eyes widened in shock. In the space in front of him, there was a dazzling light of runes shooting out. The light spread out, and countless runes were faintly discernible. The aura of the dazzling runes was overbearing and terrifying. Just that aura alone made Du Xiaofu's heart tremble, and he felt as if he was about to be crushed. The pressure was too terrifying. Du Xiaofu was shocked as he looked at the densely packed runes in the dazzling space. Then, the bodies of the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Phoenix, and Black Tortoise appeared. In the shadows of the runes, Du Xiaofu saw the real bodies of the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Phoenix, and Black Tortoise. Those were the real auras of the four beasts. For supreme auras had descended. Roar! The Azure Dragon's body covered an unknown distance in the sky. It was thousands of feet long, and one couldn't see the end of it. The Azure Dragon's huge eyes emitted a dazzling divine light, like a black hole. When one looked at it, one would feel as if one had fallen into a swamp, unable to escape. Roar! A huge white tiger as huge as a mountain range appeared. It was abnormally ferocious, and its huge aura made one's heart tremble. An abnormally terrifying energy fluctuation surged from the huge white tiger's body. An ancient aura filled the air, and its roar was like thunder from the 9 heavens. Ku! The shadow of a phoenix appeared, circling in the air as if it was looking down on the world. Its wings covered the sky, and its body was covered in flames. It was like the sun, as if it could burn ancient times. Roar! The image of a black tortoise intertwined with a tortoise and a snake. Its aura shook the universe as if it could suppress all life on Earth. Du Xiaofu's physical body was on the verge of exploding under the frightening aura. It was simply impossible to resist such an aura. Suddenly, he reached the end of the illusory tunnel. Du Xiaofu's figure stopped in midair. Roar! The Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Phoenix, and Black Tortoise sovereigns all stared closely at Du Xiaofu. They roared out and lunged towards Du Xiaofu with a tremendous pressure that surpassed time and space. Under that terrifying pressure, Du Xiaofu's heart trembled. His profound qi froze, and even time and space had stopped. He was unable to resist at all. Is this another death calamity? Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly in his heart. Those 4 terrifying auras were too powerful, and he couldn't resist them at all. He could only look on helplessly as those 4 supreme behemoths pounced on him. A sense of awe and fear crept up from the depths of his soul. Qi, suddenly, at the last moment, when Du Xiaofu was about to lose all hope, the surrounding space suddenly changed. The terrifying scene around him instantly disappeared. In the next instant, Du Xiaofu appeared in an illusory space under his astonishment. Du Xiaofu looked around. Everything in this space was extremely similar to the desolate ancient space. However, there were no traces of time and space distortions. The space here didn't affect time. After waiting for so long, someone has finally arrived. An old figure suddenly spread out in this illusory space. As the voice fell, a figure quietly appeared in the air in front of Du Xiaofu. It was a long-haired old man dressed in a black robe. His eyes were shining like stars, and the light around him spread out like a bright moon. The long-haired old man looked at Du Xiaofu. His figure was extremely illusory, but when his star-like eyes fell on Du Xiaofu, it was as if he could see through all of Du Xiaofu's secrets. How can there be such a powerful pressure? Du Xiaofu was shocked. At this moment, he felt the terrifying aura of the long-haired old man. He couldn't help but feel like crawling in his heart. Who are you? Du Xiaofu instinctively took a few steps back. In front of the long-haired old man, Du Xiaofu felt like an ant in front of an elephant. He was so tiny. Who am I? Even if I said, no one in this world would know, the long-haired old man said softly. His voice was old and inexplicably domineering. He said indifferently, in another world, there were people who called me Duanmu Qiong Tian. There were also people who called me Holy Hand Spirit Sovereign, or Holy Hand Spirit Emperor. Another world, Duanmu Qiong Tian. After a moment of panic, Du Xiaofu immediately calmed down. Although it was only an illusory body, the aura of the long-haired old man was terrifying. He asked, could it be that this heavenly beast hall was left behind by Senior Duanmu? It's called the Heavenly Beast Hall. Then it's the Heavenly Beast Hall. Duanmu Qiong Tian smiled faintly. He looked at Du Xiaofu and said, this Heavenly Beast Hall is indeed left behind by me. Back then, those fellows stayed in this world to do some things. I was bored, so I collected some demonic beast inheritances from this world into this space and set up some small traps for the fated ones. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu was stunned. So this Heavenly Beast Hall was really left behind by the old man in front of him. From the Heavenly Beast Tomb to the Heavenly Beast Hall, Du Xiaofu knew how dangerous it was. Especially the enormous Heavenly Beast Hall. Even the Ancient Heaven Sect and the Immeasurable Sect would not be able to take it out. However, the old man in front of him actually said that it was just a small trick. This caused Du Xiaofu to be involuntarily stunned. Just how terrifying was the strength of this boorish old man in front of him. I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Greetings, Senior. Du Xiaofu bowed respectfully. How powerful was the old man in front of him? If the Heavenly Beast Tomb was just a small trick set up by him, then how ancient was he? Haha, boy, you are courteous and smart. You are a bit like my disciple back then. Since you can enter this place and pass all the tests, according to your world's cultivation level, you should be invincible under the martial domain realm. This also proves that you are qualified to obtain everything that I have left behind. Duanmu Chengtian looked at Du Xiaofu with a smile and asked, it is fate for you to be able to come here. Let me ask you, do you want to obtain everything that I have left behind and become my disciple at the same time? At this moment, Duanmu Chengtian did not know that although Du Xiaofu was indeed abnormal, he was able to enter the Heavenly Beast Hall so easily because there was a problem with the Tao Wu that he had set up in the Heavenly Beast Hall. Otherwise, only those who defeated the Tao Wu could enter the Heavenly Beast Hall. In order to defeat the Tao Wu that he had left behind, one must at least be invincible under the martial domain realm in this world.
Yes.
Du Xiaofu nodded without any hesitation. The old man who called himself Duanmu Qiongtian was definitely an expert. If he could obtain the heavenly beast hall and even his inheritance, it would undoubtedly be a great treasure that contained countless cultivation resources. Even a fool would not reject such a good thing. After nodding, Du Xiaofu looked at Duanmu Qiongtian and said honestly, "However, the cultivation technique that I am practicing is a little special. It is a cultivation technique that beasts practice. In addition, I already have a master, and I have quite a few masters. Your cultivation technique does not matter. Becoming my disciple and obtaining what I have left behind is enough for you to become the strongest expert in this world. However, to become my disciple, you cannot have any more masters. You must cut off all ties with your previous masters. Otherwise, you are not fated to have any of this. I will send you away and wait for the next fated person." Duanmu Qiongtian said, "Cut off all ties with my previous masters." Du Xiaofu looked at the long-haired old man in front of him and said without hesitation, "Senior, please send me away." Cutting off all ties with his previous masters? Thinking of his master Gu Qingyang, Tianwu Academy, and weapon-revered Xiahou Fenglei, Du Xiaofu did not even need to think about it. Although his current masters were not as strong as the illusory old man in front of him, it was impossible for Du Xiaofu to cut off all ties with his previous masters. Even if he obtained the heavenly beast hall in the beast region, it was not as important as Du Xiaofu's master. "Kid, you have to think clearly. As long as you agree to cut off all ties with your previous masters, the heavenly beast hall will be at your fingertips. You can also obtain my inheritance, which is enough for you to become the strongest existence in this world. Why would you want to miss such a great opportunity for the sake of an ant-like master in this world?" Duanmu Qiongtian said to Du Xiaofu. There was still a faint smile in his eyes, as deep and vast as the stars. "No matter how great the benefits are, they are not as important to me as my master. Senior, there is no need to say anything more. Please send me out." Du Xiaofu shook his head. Even if he could not obtain such a great benefit, he could not forget about his master. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu's heart ached. It was simply intolerable for him to miss out on such an opportunity. However, Du Xiaofu couldn't cross the bottom line in his heart if he cut off his apprenticeship in exchange for benefits. Chapter 1275. You can also pretend to promise me and go back on your word after getting the benefits without anyone knowing. Are you really not tempted by such an opportunity? Duanmu Qiongtian asked. Of course I'm tempted by such an opportunity. However, if I were to do such a treacherous thing, I wouldn't be able to face my drunkard father in the future. I wouldn't be able to face my masters, and I wouldn't be able to face my mother and sister whom I have never met. Du Xiaofu's purple robe fluttered. He was quite carefree. Since he was not fated to be with her, he would look better if he pretended to be carefree. Duanmu Qiongtian looked at Du Xiaofu with a strange smile in his eyes. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's vision blurred and Duanmu Qiongtian disappeared. At the same time, Du Xiaofu felt the former's figure appear in front of him without a sound, and a palm print landed on his head. Du Xiaofu realized that he had no power to resist at all under that palm print. Before the former, Du Xiaofu didn't even feel the existence of any aura, but he was completely powerless to resist. His entire body was imperceptibly unable to summon up the strength in his entire body. His profound energy had frozen, and his soul core had fallen silent for no reason. You have the thunder martial vein in this world. The cultivation method you practice seems to be the Golden Rock's cultivation method. It's the first time I've seen a human practicing a demonic beast's cultivation method so naturally. You also have a type of spiritual root and 3 types of spiritual thunder in this world. Your primordial spirit has already merged with 2 types. Did those guys break that thing? Why is a part of it in your body? Duanmu Qiongtian looked into Du Xiaofu's body, from his physical body to his primordial spirit. It was as if nothing could escape his eyes. Then, he looked into Du Xiaofu's dantian and qi si. There are traces of the azure dragon, the white tiger, the phoenix, and the black tortoise. It seems to be the forging method that I left behind, but it is not the complete forging method. There are also the real Daping golden wings. That race is indeed powerful. They are unrivaled in the outside world. And this is... Suddenly, Duanmu Qiongtian's face changed as if he had sensed something. His hand seals were formed, and a few finger seals landed on Du Xiaofu's body, causing the surface of Du Xiaofu's body to emit a faint purple-gold light. Indestructible Xian body. He actually cultivated the indestructible Xian body. Duanmu Qiongtian's figure retreated. He also looked surprised. After a while, the illusory figure looked at Du Xiaofu with a smile and said, "Originally, I wanted to ask the people who obtained the heavenly beast hall and the things I left behind to help one person to deal with the great calamity of the world. It seems that it is much simpler now." "Senior Duanmu, why are you doing this?" Du Xiaofu instinctively retreated a few steps. His eyes were filled with absolute vigilance and shock. Duanmu Qiongtian was too terrifying. He seemed to be able to see through everything about Du Xiaofu, even his indestructible Xian body. Du Xiaofu instinctively raised his guard. "Don't be nervous. I have no ill intentions." Duanmu Qiongtian looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "You also cultivate the talisman way. You can cultivate what I left behind. Your foundation is extremely strong, your state of mind is extremely stable, and your primordial spirit is extraordinary. This is definitely rare. What is your name?" Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu relaxed a little. He felt that the long-haired elder in front of him did not seem to have any ill intentions towards him. "Du Xiaofu." Duanmu Qiongtian smiled at Du Xiaofu and said, "All right, kowtow and acknowledge me as your master. I will accept you as my disciple. This may be the will of the heavens." Hearing this, Du Xiaofu looked at Duanmu Qiongtian and was slightly surprised. He said, "Senior, I do not intend to sever my original master's teachings. If you really intend to sever your original master's teachings for the sake of enticement, you are not qualified to become my disciple. Now that your spiritual soul has been destroyed, there is no need for you to go out." Duanmu Qiongtian looked at Du Xiaofu and smiled with satisfaction. He said, "To be able to remain unmoved in the face of such temptation, this is the quality I value the most. It does not matter how many masters you have. The disciple I accepted back then probably has more masters than you." That was close. This is an old fox. Hearing Duanmu Qiongtian's words, Du Xiaofu immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. It turned out that he had just escaped a calamity. Fortunately, he had not pretended to agree. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. This mysterious Duanmu Qiongtian was still testing him at the end. Du Xiaofu guessed that if other experts had relied on their absolute strength to barge in and failed to pass this test, their previous efforts would have been wasted and they would have suffered a great calamity. Disciple pays his respects to master. As Du Xiaofu inwardly sucked in a breath of cold air and muttered "old fox" to himself, Du Xiaofu immediately kowtowed respectfully. Du Xiaofu kowtowed 3 times in a row. After kowtowing a few times, he did not lose much flesh. This was acknowledging a master. Du Xiaofu did not think that he was at a disadvantage. "Haha, in the future, you will be the second disciple of this old man, Duanmu Qiongtian." Duanmu Qiongtian laughed. His eyes rippled as he said, "This old man has been immersed in cultivation all my life. Strictly speaking, I have only accepted one disciple in my life, which is your senior brother. He did not disappoint me. His name has spread far and wide, and he looks down on the heavens. I hope that you will be able to catch up to your senior brother in the future. However, in this world, I have only left behind a remnant of my soul. After I leave behind that heavenly spirit record that I have comprehended in my life, it will also dissipate. I have no time to teach you. Everything comes from the same source. The Tao of talismans in this world is also suitable for cultivating what I have learned in my life. As for your own comprehension, learn as much as you can in the future." As his voice fell, Duanmu Qiongtian's illusory figure formed a hand seal. In an instant, a resplendent rune flashed. Boom! In the next instant, the resplendent rune appeared in front of Du Xiaofu's forehead. It plunged into his forehead like a torrential flood and poured into Du Xiaofu's Naiwen palace. Qi. At the same time, Du Xiaofu felt a huge wave of unfamiliar information appear in his mind's Naiwen palace. In Du Xiaofu's mind, Master Duanmu Qiongtian's voice sounded again, "Xiaofu, my disciple, Today, Master will impart to you the heavenly spirit record that I have comprehended in my life. Comprehend it well, and do not let your senior brother and I down. I will leave a soul imprint for you to obtain the Heavenly Beast Hall. The Heavenly Beast Hall contains the many experts from the Beast Clan who died after the great calamity of the three clans. Many demonic beast inheritances have been preserved, and many beast energies have been left behind. With your current strength, you must not let others know about it. Otherwise, there will be great trouble. If we are truly fated, and you are able to shoulder the heavy responsibility, we will definitely meet again one day. When the voice completely fell, everything calmed down. Only that huge wave of information remained in Du Xiaofu's Niwen Palace. That information was everything that was collected in the Heavenly Spirit Record. At this moment, it was gradually imprinted in Du Xiaofu's mind, allowing Du Xiaofu to start memorizing it. The illusory space was vast and boundless. Purple light flickered, and a huge purple flame demonic phoenix shadow floated in the air. Its eyes looked down, like a purple sun in the sky. The purple flame demonic phoenix shadow was slightly different from ordinary purple flame demonic phoenix shadows. There were no purple flames on its body, only a beautiful purple light with a kind of heart-palpitating black color. The beautiful purple flame demonic phoenix shadow appeared under the huge purple flame demonic phoenix shadow. Her beautiful figure was graceful, and her eyes looked directly at the huge purple flame demonic phoenix shadow. She then knelt down and bowed. Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix Clan's descendant, Zixin greets the clan's ancestor. As the heavenly sound's voice fell, the purple flames fluctuated, and in an instant, it turned into the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix's true body. Its huge body was almost 1,000 feet long, but it was far smaller than the black and Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix shadow. Koob, the gigantic Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix, let out a cry that pierced through the clouds and cracked rocks. It flapped its wings and moved. Suddenly, a dazzling purple brilliance appeared within its gigantic illusory body. It was like a light pillar that directly covered the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix's head. Inside the Heavenly Beast Tomb, outside the Heavenly Beast Hall, the continuous mountain peaks overlapped, and the mountain paths were winding and dangerous. In the deep valleys, mysterious and dense mountain aura rose like a veil, adding a different charm to the rough mountains. A wood between the mountain peaks, countless ferocious birds and ferocious beasts circled around, roaring occasionally. There was a mountain peak surrounded by ferocious birds and ferocious beasts. There were several figures standing on the mountain peak, all of them emitting a powerful aura. I wonder what's going on inside. I heard that when the Heavenly Beast Hall opened in the past, those battle servants would be able to come out in one day. Why haven't they come out after 3 days? Long Eight's blue hair reached his shoulders, and his eyes fluctuated like the waves of the sea. At this moment, there was a puzzled look on his face. Chapter 1276. It's good that it's abnormal. It proves that a great opportunity has appeared in the Heavenly Beast Hall as expected, and can be obtained by us dragons. Long Seven was wearing a red battle suit that looked like a burning flame. He was full of confidence. Strange, I don't seem to have seen Du Xiaofu. Long Eight frowned slightly. Under his blue robe, his temperament was quiet and elegant. Maybe he's already trapped in the Heavenly Beast Tomb. I hope he doesn't die. Even if he has to die, he should die at the hands of us dragons. Long Seven said in a low voice. His eyes were cold. Not far away, Huang Ling looked in the direction of the Heavenly Beast Hall. Her 7-colored eyes suddenly rippled. She stood there quietly, untainted by a speck of dust. She was indescribably ethereal and noble. She murmured softly, "It's been 3 days. Is there really a great opportunity this time?" Heavenly Spirit Record. In the illusory space, Du Xiaofu had unknowingly opened his eyes. His expression was one of shock and astonishment. His throat was dry, and he swallowed hard. Then, Du Xiaofu's astonished face gradually turned into ecstasy. From the information in his mind, Du Xiaofu found out that this Heavenly Spirit Record was not a martial art, nor was it a beast energy. It was a kind of side door outside of martial arts and soul skills. It was an inconceivable side door that was all-encompassing and contained everything. Du Xiaofu carefully searched through the information within the heavenly spirit record. There were countless formations recorded within. Although these formations were slightly different from ordinary talisman formations, it wasn't difficult to comprehend them since they all came from the same source. In the heavenly spirit record, there were many methods to make puppets and weapons, including the method to make pills. Du Xiaofu was even more shocked. These methods to make puppets and weapons were the same as his master's secret soldier secrets. They were more profound, but there was no sacred body secrets in the heavenly spirit record. Apart from this, the heavenly spirit record contained many other unique techniques. For example, the soul-searching technique could search the memories of the other party. This soul-searching technique reminded Du Xiaofu of the soul-searching technique he had learned on the 9th floor of the Hahuan School's Yin and Yang Pavilion. Soul-searching techniques allowed one to search for memories within the soul of another's primordial soul. However, the prerequisite was that one's primordial soul had to be more powerful than the target's. The more powerful the target's primordial soul was, the more difficult it would be to search or succeed. This spirit-searching technique was similar to the soul-searching technique, but the spirit-searching technique was more powerful. In the heavenly spirit record, there was also a beast-controlling technique. As long as one had enough cultivation, they could directly control large amounts of demonic beasts. At the same time, they could cultivate demonic beasts from a young age. Kyushu had many methods to control demonic beasts. All he needed to do was to place a primordial spirit imprint. If the demonic beast did not obey him, he could destroy its spirit with just a thought. But this beast-controlling technique was completely different. Among the experts above Kyushu, no one had ever been able to control large amounts of demonic beasts. The reason was simple. Every time he placed a primordial spirit imprint on a demonic beast, it would consume a lot of soul force. This was something even powerful talisman masters couldn't afford. Therefore, those powerful spirit talisman masters in the 9 regions were generally able to subdue and control a small number of demon beasts with high bloodline levels. The more demonic beasts he controlled, the more soul force he would need to use. If he used too much of his primordial spirit imprint, it would be many times more difficult to replenish than Xian Qi. For anyone, this was a huge taboo. It would directly affect one's cultivation in the future. If he used too much of his primordial spirit imprint, it would directly affect one's foundation. At that time, it would simply be destroying one's future. Therefore, no one dared to casually control large amounts of demonic beasts. Not long ago, Du Xiaofu didn't even place a primordial spirit imprint in the minds of the Fantasy Tiger King and the Violent Bear King. Even if his primordial spirit was powerful and special, Du Xiaofu wouldn't dare to do something that would affect his foundation. But now, the beast-controlling technique in the heavenly spirit record was different. Controlling large amounts of demonic beasts wasn't a problem. All he needed to do was place a blood soul imprint in their minds. With the blood soul imprint placed in their minds, the demonic beasts would obey orders from the depths of their primordial spirit. There was no need to forcefully place a primordial spirit imprint and force the demonic beast to obey. Forcefully controlling a demonic beast with a primordial spirit imprint wasn't a good thing. Once an expert destroyed the primordial spirit imprint in a demonic beast's mind, the demonic beast would be able to viciously retaliate. At the same time, placing a primordial spirit imprint would more or less affect the demonic beast cultivation in the future. But the demonic beast controlled by the beast-controlling technique would be able to continue cultivating. It wouldn't affect their cultivation in the future at all. However, the requirements for the primordial spirit to use the beast-controlling technique were extremely harsh. It required an extremely powerful primordial spirit. Otherwise, if the blood soul imprint failed, at the very least, one's cultivation would be greatly damaged. At the very least, one could die. However, when Du Xiaofu's consciousness swept over the cultivation method of the blood soul imprint, he couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. The blood soul imprint required one to use one's own blood essence and several types of spiritual herbs to refine into a pill. Then, one would consume the pill and refine it. Finally, one's primordial spirit imprint would be condensed into a seal. The power of the blood soul imprint also depended on the strength of one's primordial spirit. By condensing the primordial spirit imprint into a seal and inserting it into the demonic beast's mind, one would be able to use the beast-controlling technique to control the demonic beast. This wasn't much, but the process of extracting the blood essence made Du Xiaofu's hair stand on end. The blood essence needed to cultivate the blood-soul imprint had to be from one's own bone marrow. The easiest way to extract the blood essence from one's own bone marrow was to condense a spirit talisman master's flame and burn it in one's own bone marrow. One could imagine that the pain was enough to make one beg for death. Not many people would be able to endure it. Isn't this too perverted? Du Xiaofu sucked in a breath of cold air. To cultivate the blood-soul imprint, one had to risk one's life first. After sweeping through everything in the heavenly spirit record, Du Xiaofu's heart couldn't calm down for a long time. Only then did he understand why people said that the heavenly beast hall controlled the beast region. At this moment, just the beast-controlling technique in the heavenly spirit record was enough to control an entire beast region. Not to mention, the heavenly spirit record didn't only have the beast-controlling technique. It also had more advanced puppet and weapon refining techniques than the secret soldier art. There were also countless profound formations. Any of the methods recorded in the heavenly spirit record was comparable to the grand techniques of this world, perhaps even surpassing them. Just think about it. A person who controlled many demonic beasts, puppets, and formations. Who would dare to provoke him? He was enough to dominate a region above the Kyushu. Who? Sucking in a breath of cold air, Du Xiaofu looked around. His master Duanmu Qiongtian's illusory figure had already disappeared. His soul's afterimage had also completely dissipated. I can slowly cultivate the heavenly spirit record. First, I'll control the heavenly beast hall. Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and smiled. His master Duanmu Qiongtian had left behind a soul imprint that could help him obtain the heavenly beast hall. If there was a chance in the future, he would naturally have the opportunity to meet his master again. Whoosh! Du Xiaofu's figure disappeared from the illusory space. At this moment, the heavenly beast hall was an ownerless object. When Du Xiaofu's figure reappeared, he was in a space filled with flickering runes. The space where the talisman markings flickered seemed as if countless years had passed. It was suffused with a desolate and ancient aura, and it spoke of the silence of the vicissitudes of life. In the center of the runic space, Du Xiaofu focused his gaze. There was an area covered by spatial ripples in front of him. Roar! The spatial ripples slowly rotated and constantly flickered, causing one's soul to tremble. The faint cries of 10,000 beasts could be heard. Control the heavenly beast hall. Du Xiaofu's lips curled into a smile. In the next instant, he formed a hand seal and a bright primordial spirit energy shot out from between his eyebrows. It directly shot into the flickering spatial whirlpool. The illusory space was vast and boundless. As the purple light flickered, the enormous black-purple flame demonic phoenix gradually disappeared. It turned into the last purple light, and like a purple thunderbolt, it plunged into the forehead of a nearly 3,000-meter-long purple flame demonic phoenix below. At the same time, the aura within the body of the purple flame demonic phoenix, which was almost 10,000 feet in size, began to faintly rise. However, in this vast space, the rising aura seemed to be suppressed. Time passed slowly. The square in front of the heavenly beast hall was still silent. Chapter 1277. The space outside the celestial beast hall twisted and froze. Everyone was trapped, unable to leave. The towering celestial beast hall stood there like a peerless beast. It was silent and did not react at all. On the ground of the plaza, the ancient viper and the other huge skeletons sat there like four continuous mountain ranges. They made people seem tiny, but they still could not compare to the enormous celestial beast hall. Many battle servants waited, not knowing what to do. Their gazes would occasionally land on the four skeletons of the snake clan. Their eyes burned with desire, but they did not dare to move at all. They knew that even if the snake skeletons were great treasures, it was not something they could touch. With the phantom chariot, the phantom tiger king, and the violent bear king present, none of them dared to move forward. It was already good enough that the phantom chariot and the others did not attack them. That vicious fellow has already been in there for 3 days. I wonder if it's a blessing or a curse. Shangguan Qixian stared at the towering celestial core hall. Under his thick eyebrows, his eyes rippled like spring water. A smear of doubt vaguely flashed through his eyes. Du Xiaofu closed his eyes in the dazzling ripples of space. The dazzling power of the soul between his eyebrows was connected to the ripples of space in front of him. Hiss hiss. The special power of the soul carried a silver-yellow arc of lightning. Walala! At this moment, Du Xiaofu was surrounded by a dazzling white light. It gave off a domineering and ancient aura as it howled. Boom! As the power of the soul between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows vanished, the last strand of silver-yellow soul energy was devoured by the dazzling light in front of him. When the strand of soul energy between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows completely vanished, a blinding light immediately spread through the space. An extremely ancient and invisible wave instantly enveloped Du Xiaofu's body like a storm. The vast and mighty aura spread out along with the roars of tens of thousands of beasts. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's entire body trembled. His eyes were still closed, but at this moment, there was a wave of formless soul energy around his body like a tide, spreading out in all directions. Immediately, a vast space appeared clearly in Du Xiaofu's mind. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's mind could sense that every tiny corner of this space was already connected to the surrounding space. Rumble. At this moment, the earth outside the heavenly beast hall was shaking. The enormous and towering heavenly beast hall was on the verge of collapse, as if it would fall at any moment. Chi la la. In the distance, the entrance that had been twisted and closed began to open again. The many battle servants on the square, including the Phantom Chariot, Phantom Tiger King, Little Falcon, and Violent Bear King, were all pushed out. What's going on? The Palace Master hasn't come out yet. The Violent Bear King, Little Falcon, and the others cried out in alarm. However, the huge repulsive force in the plaza was something that none of them could resist. They were all forcefully pushed out. However, the ancient viper, ancient hook snake, and the other huge skeletons were like boulders. They were not affected at all. At this moment, Du Xiaofu could see a vast space filled with gigantic skeletons of demonic beasts. There were the ancient azure dragon, white tiger, phoenix, and black tortoise, as well as the ancient Taotai, Tengu, Baise, Kuei Bayan, Xieji Bayan, Tianlu Bayan, 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 and Bayan, 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 and these ancient demonic beasts that only existed in the ancient era, and their descendants were almost extinct. However, all of them existed in the heavenly beast hall. Although these demonic beasts were not living creatures, what they left behind were complete inheritances. They even left behind complete beast abilities that could be comprehended by humans and other demonic beasts. After obtaining the heavenly beast hall and the beast region, Du Xiaofu finally understood the true meaning behind it. With the inheritances of these ancient demonic beasts, any one of these ancient demonic beasts' inheritances was enough to shake the entire beast region, or even the entire Kyushu region. His master, Duanmu Qiongtian, had practically collected and organized an ancient demonic beast battlefield in the heavenly beast hall. What kind of extravagance was this? If the ancient demonic beasts' inheritances in the heavenly beast hall were to appear and be obtained by other ancient demonic beasts, it would not take long for them to change the current situation of the beast region. The entire vast heavenly beast hall appeared in Du Xiaofu's mind. With a ripple of his consciousness, Du Xiaofu could now see the inside of the heavenly beast hall. After placing his soul imprint, Du Xiaofu could now completely control the heavenly beast hall. He had also become one with the heavenly beast hall. Chi, after a long time, Du Xiaofu opened his eyes. At the same time, a dazzling light flashed in his eyes. At the same time, they were also filled with shock and doubt. What was hidden in the heavenly beast hall was too shocking. To Du Xiaofu, his master, Duanmu Qiongtian, had practically collected and organized an ancient demonic beast battlefield in the heavenly beast hall. What kind of extravagance was this? What level has Master's cultivation reached? After a while, Du Xiaofu finally regained his senses. He was deeply shocked by his master, Duanmu Qiongtian, the person who had built this heavenly beast hall and then moved an ancient demonic beast hall into it. What kind of existence was he? He should be able to reach the heavens. All of this was enough to prove that his master, Duanmu Qiongtian, came from the ancient era. He had said that they would be able to meet if they were fated to meet. It was enough to prove that he still existed in this world, from the ancient era to the present. This made it hard for Du Xiaofu to imagine how powerful his master, Duanmu Qiongtian, was. Only a spiritual remnant shadow was left in this world. Could it be that there are other worlds in this world? Du Xiaofu muttered softly. He recalled what his master, Duanmu Qiongtian, had said. Only a spiritual remnant shadow was left in this world. Could it be that there were other worlds outside this world? Du Xiaofu could not figure out these questions, let alone find out. He might as well not think about it anymore. His eyes flickered as if he had sensed something. Du Xiaofu's figure then suddenly disappeared from the spot. Swoosh! When Du Xiaofu appeared again, he had already appeared in a huge square. This square was even bigger than the square outside the heavenly beast hall. The square was boundless. An ancient aura filled the air, telling of the silence of the vicissitudes of life. Around the square, there were huge ancient halls, standing tall like mountains in this space. Numerous large halls were bronze in color. Countless years had caused these large halls to emit a mottled, desolate, and ancient aura. At this moment, the space within the heavenly beast hall was majestic. This was not something that an ordinary force could create. Standing in the middle of the square, Du Xiaofu focused his gaze. Then, his figure flashed and appeared at the entrance of a huge palace. His figure flashed within. When Du Xiaofu's figure appeared next, what appeared in front of him was a seemingly illusory but vast space. Huff! Within the body of a huge purple flame demonic phoenix, the aura began to rise. However, in this vast space, the rising aura was suppressed by some invisible force. Is she breaking through? Du Xiaofu's eyes twitched. That was the real body of the purple flame demonic phoenix. At this moment, he felt that the aura of the purple flame demonic phoenix seemed to be showing signs of a breakthrough. However, in this space, the aura of the purple flame demonic phoenix's body was suppressed. Even though there was a huge amount of energy in its body, it was still unable to break through. Even beast region cultivators weren't allowed to exist in this space. I have to leave this place. Otherwise, it will only be harmful to her. Du Xiaofu frowned. Sensing the aura of the purple flame demonic phoenix, it was not difficult to figure out where the problem was. Boom! In the space outside the heavenly beast hall, before the mountains overlapped, there was finally some movement at the exit. Dazzling runes flickered. Battle servants have finally come out. The many demonic beasts waiting outside were already surprised and puzzled after waiting for several days. At this moment, they immediately raised their heads and looked at each other. Auras suddenly surged, filling the mountain range in all directions. Joy and anticipation surged in their ferocious eyes. Swoosh, swoosh. In the ferocious eyes of the demonic beasts, the figures of battle servants gradually appeared in their line of sight. They gradually flew out from the space of the heavenly beast hall. This is a little strange. Rumor has it that when the heavenly beast hall opened in the past, only a few battle servants would be able to come out in the end. It seems like quite a few have come out this time. Many demonic beasts were puzzled when they saw the densely packed battle servants about to come out. To demonic beasts, battle servants were only slaves. They did not care too much about them. It did not matter if a few of them died. Only the extremely talented and powerful battle servants would attract the demonic beast's attention. However, they were only used as tools to show off to the outside world. As a result, they did not care too much about how many battle servants would die after entering the heavenly beast hall. What they cared about was whether or not they could obtain any benefits from the heavenly beast hall. Chapter 1278. Even the surrounding dragons and phoenixes looked over with anticipation. They're out. Long Seven raised his head. His crimson battle clothes were like fire, and his eyes glowed. Coming out of the heavenly beast hall was just the beginning for them. The real battle had just begun, and those battle servants were just the vanguard. They've been in there for a few days. There should be some benefits. Long Eight's long blue hair fluttered, and his eyes were deep. Not far away on the mountain peak, Huang Ling, Er's red-patterned pleated dress revealed her snow-white breasts. Her eyes were looking at the exit, and there were ripples in her eyes. Whoosh whoosh. In just a few breaths of time, figures appeared at the entrance of the rune. The ones at the front were the first battle servants to be pushed out, followed by Luan Jian, Guqin Demon Shangwan Qixien, Wild Bear King, Fantasy Tiger King, and Gue Che. Isn't that Gue Che? There's also Wild Bear King, Fantasy Tiger King, and the others. How did they come out of the Heavenly Beast Hall? Demonic beasts can't enter at all. What's going on? As Gue Che and the others appeared at the exit of the Heavenly Beast Hall, they were immediately recognized by many people. Exclamations rang out, and the surrounding demonic beasts were in disbelief. Demonic beasts couldn't enter the Heavenly Beast Hall at all. However, Gue Che, Fantasy Tiger King, and the others came out of nowhere, which surprised all the other demonic beasts. They're out. They're finally out. The battle servants rushed out one by one with lingering fear. Then, they smiled excitedly as if they had just escaped death. They returned to their respective demonic beasts. Only Gue Che, Wild Bear King, and the others glanced around before turning their heads to look at the distant Heavenly Beast Hall. At this moment, the Heavenly Beast Hall was being rejected by a huge force, and they couldn't enter. Why hasn't the Hall Master come out yet? Could he be inside? Wild Bear King stared at the Heavenly Beast Hall in the distance. He couldn't help but think of the worst possible outcome. That's not necessarily a bad thing. We're also free. Spiritual Fantasy Tiger King said weakly. If the worst had happened to that ferocious fellow, then even the beautiful lady from the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan would not have come out from the Heavenly Beast Palace. Naturally, they would be free now. Actually, if that guy wasn't human, it wouldn't be a bad idea to follow him, Little Inging softly said. He did not seem to be as happy as he had imagined with regards to the freedom that had suddenly arrived. Swish, swish, many battle servants landed on the surrounding mountains. Two young men landed in front of the dragon's formation. Their faces were pale, and their eyes were still filled with lingering fear. This time, the dragon clan sent in many battle servants, but only two young battle servants came out. Where are Gold 1, Silver 2, Copper 3, and the others? Looking at the two young battle servants in front of him, Dragon 8's eyes darkened. He had a bad feeling about this. Replying to the 8th Crown Prince, the others were killed by the Ghost Chariot, Winged Dragon, Illusion Tiger King, and Wild Bear King. They were under the command of a violet-robed youth. That person was simply too powerful. He plundered everything and entered the Heavenly Beast Hall with a woman from the violet-flamed demonic phoenix race. They haven't come out yet, a young man said to Dragon 8 in one breath. What he said was true. He had repeated it hundreds of times in his heart. Once they came out, they would have to face Dragon 8 and Dragon 7. This time, they didn't gain anything. If that happened, Dragon 8 and Dragon 7 might vent their anger on them. Therefore, they naturally had to kick this responsibility far away. Gue Che, Spiritual Fantasy Tiger King, Wild Bear King. Hearing that, Long 7 was surprised to find that Ghost Car and the others had come out from the space inside the Heavenly Beast Palace. Under the fiery red battle suit, his chest heaved up and down. He looked at the young battle servant who spoke and asked in a deep voice, "So, Ghost Car and the others really went in?" The young battle servant was stared at by Dragon 7. Under the invisible pressure, his body almost went soft. He replied with a trembling voice, "Gue Che and the others have been in there." They seemed to be calling the purple-robed young man Palace Master. It was the purple-robed young man who ordered them to kill Gold 1, Silver 2, and Copper 3. That purple-robed young man is also a demonic beast? Dragon 8 asked. In his vast eyes, there was a trace of undetectable gloominess. That person's aura is very strange. It seems like a demonic beast, but also a human. The young man's body trembled and shook his head. The purple-robed young man's aura was hard to detect. His cultivation wasn't weak. Even among the young generation of Kyushu, he was considered a genius. However, he couldn't even detect the purple-robed young man's aura. Gue Che, spiritual fantasy tiger king, wild bear king. How dare you? Dragon 7's expression was gloomy. In the depths of his eyes, there seemed to be a flame burning. His aura slowly surged from his body. Be careful. The old men behind the demonic fire spiritual fantasy tiger and the wild earth-splitting bear aren't easy to deal with. Especially Gue Che. Those behind him are even more difficult to deal with. Sensing the aura from Dragon 7, an old man walked out. He looked to be in his 50s. His eyes were filled with a dark light and his aura was concealed. But as the figure walked out, the surrounding space suddenly trembled. We dragons are not afraid of foreign races. Dragon 7 spoke. His voice was filled with arrogance, but his expression was respectful towards the old man. Greetings, fourth princess. Not far away, on the peak of a mountain, Luan Jian and a few battle servants landed. They looked at Huang Ling and bowed respectfully. Luan Jian also handed a beast bone to Huang Ling and said, I only got one. The other extraordinary bones were taken by Gue Che, Wild Bear King, Spiritual Tiger King, and the others. They appeared in the Celestial Beast Hall with a purple-robed young man and an expert from the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan. They took all the treasures and killed the dragons. Gold 1, Silver 2, Tong 3. I'm not their match. The middle-aged man behind Huang Ling took the bone from Luan Jian's hand. His eyes were filled with shock. The bone wasn't ordinary. Huang Ling's gaze slowly moved away from the ghost chariot, the wild bear king, and the phantom tiger king. Her eyes flickered with suspicion as she looked at Luan Jian. Her voice was soft and gentle as she asked, Ghost chariot, wild bear king, and phantom tiger king are all inside? Luan Jian raised his eyes slightly and nodded. He still couldn't understand how the ghost chariot and the others could appear in the space of the Celestial Beast Hall. He replied to Huang Ling the ghost chariot and the others are all inside. I don't know why they can appear here. That purple-robed young man is about 22 or 23 years old. His cultivation method is extremely domineering. Gold 1, Silver 2, and Tong San were also killed by him, right? Huang Ling was quite calm. Luan Jian was surprised. He didn't expect the fourth princess to know everything from the outside. He said, that purple-robed young man is young. Although he didn't kill Gold 1, Silver 2, and Tong San himself, he ordered Gue Che and Spiritual Tiger King to kill them. I know. You're no match for him. Your loss this time has nothing to do with you. Huang Ling said softly. There was a bitter smile on her beautiful face. Gue Che, Violent Bear King, Spiritual Tiger King, you have to give me an explanation today. Violent Bear King, you killed my battle servant. Do you really not take me seriously? Spiritual Tiger King, you stole my battle servant's mystic bone and killed my battle servant. Do you want to start a war with me? Suddenly, just as Huang Ling finished speaking, a shocking roar resounded in the sky. Many demonic beasts' auras surged. Pairs of ferocious eyes flashed with cold anger. They instantly stared at Gue Che, Violent Bear King, Spiritual Tiger King, and the others. Huang Ling lifted her eyebrows when she heard the voice that had suddenly resounded. Her eyes followed the voice and looked over. She saw many powerful demonic beast kings within the surrounding mountain range emitting their auras. They surrounded Gue Che, Spiritual Illusion Tiger King, Wild Bear King, and the others. The crowd was furious. It seemed that Spiritual Tiger King and the others had angered the crowd. At the front of the crowd was Xiongya from the Taodai clan, Ao Long from the Tiango clan, and Xueling from the Cheongqi clan. Violent Bear King, you have to give us an explanation today. Spiritual Tiger King, you killed my battle servant. I swear I won't let you go. With Xiongya, Ao Long, and Xueling in the lead, the surrounding demonic beast kings roared like thunder and joined in. At this moment, even some of the demonic beasts that would normally make way for Violent Bear King and Spiritual Tiger King, when they saw them, seemed to have something to rely on now. They roared loudly. Looks like there's going to be a show to watch. Huang Ling smiled faintly as she looked at the turbulent atmosphere that had been created in a short period of time. Her temperament was otherworldly and did not carry the slightest trace of the mortal world. It was as if everything in the surroundings had nothing to do with her at this moment. Something seemed to move in her crimson, seven-colored eyes.